partner for commercial and industrial HVAC, electrical, plumbing, and refrigeration. Call United Mechanical at 502-339-1133.
All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. Welcome in, everybody. It's the Mike Rutherford Show here on 96.1 FM, 1450 AM, Big X Sports Radio, presented by United Mechanical. Your host, Mike Rutherford, is not currently in at the moment, but your co-host here, Roman Kelly, is going to start things off here for you at the 2:30 hour as we wait for Mike to get in. Would have added a couple of commercials or two, potentially, if I would have known he was going to be late. I didn't until it was too late to do so. I thought maybe he's just one of those days. He's walking in right when the show starts. Sometimes, he's coming in at 2:27, coming in at 2:28. We go live at 2:30 on the dot. So he knows he's got to be here, and sometimes he pushes it to the limit. More days than not, he's here at 2:25, 2:20, and everything's all good. But today, he's out at the 2:30 slot. Text me right at 2:30, almost here. So we're starting the show off. He'll be here soon. If you missed the Run-In with Roman show, go check that out. The podcast linked up on the Big X Sports Radio podcast, wherever you find them, Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Pods. But we've got Mike coming in, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of Louisville basketball talk as we were named number 11 in the preseason AP poll. A lot of texts coming in about that already.
We're here.
Mike's here. We're here.
Can I do the start?
Do the start.
All right. Welcome, everybody. It is Monday, October 13th. This is the Mike Rutherford Show, presented by United Mechanical and Nexus Plus, coming to you live from the world-famous University of Louisville College of Business Studios. Here in the heart of lovely post-fall break, Louisville, Kentucky, Cards fans take your career to new heights with an MBA from the University of Louisville. The full-time MBA is an innovative 12-month program that accelerates your career trajectory with convenient in-person evening classes. Got to catch my breath now. Competitive 11-month paid internship opportunities provide you with valuable industry experience. It's the MBA that pays. Get started today, and you could earn your degree in just 1 year. The first step is visiting business.louisville.edu. On the air today from 2:33 until 5:30 here on 1450 AM, 96.1 FM, streaming across the land, including on YouTube, airing on TV on WBNA Channel 21. You know us better as the Big X. Mike Rutherford and Roman Kelly. We're now here with you on a Monday. Thank you for doing the first few seconds there, Roman.
No problem.
We had a hectic Monday.
Let me know next time you're.
I texted you.
Well, it didn't come in until 2:30.
Oh, sorry.
So I didn't know until I. Sometimes you push it to the limit. You come right at 2:28, 2:29.
I was already running a little bit late. So the problem with if you take any time off, once like September rolls around, it's not just like, oh yeah, you miss. I'm behind. I'm like 5 days behind now because I took off Friday from all the jobs, and especially with the basketball preseason poll coming out today, and all this stuff with football, game time for BC, spread for Miami, all this stuff going on. It's just like there are a billion things happening. So I was already running a little bit late, but still going to be here on time. And then I see that Giant Pumpkin is like falling down as I'm driving away, and I was like, oh, we can't have this. We can't have Giant Pumpkin rolling down the street. So I had to restake Giant Pumpkin hastily, which I'm still a little bit worried about. And then when I got back in the car after doing that, I was like, we're going to be pushing it here. Thankfully got here pretty fast, but still not quite in time to make it for the...
You're doing great.
Thank you, Roman. I appreciate that. How are you doing on this fine Monday? Big thanks to you for holding down the fort on Friday. How was your weekend? How you feeling?
Weekend was pretty good. Put too much hot sauce on my chicken nuggets just now. Now my tongue is hot.
What kind of chicken nuggets?
The Tyson bag.
That's what we have, man.
I keep a bag of those at work.
Very familiar.
Just, nice and convenient. Throw a few in if you didn't get a lunch in on the way in today. But Monday, feeling good pretty far so far. I like this weather, Mike. This is the perfect kind of weather for me. Nice. Get up early, get things done. Got a little bit of laundry done. Hung out with a buddy. As his birthday was yesterday, so, hanging out with him.
Who is it? Happy birthday to?
Miguel, friend of mine.
Happy birthday, Miguel.
And preparing for Monday, Mike Rutherford Show, Mondays with Dalton Pence, Monday Night Football. Mondays are always exciting for me.
Well, good. I'm happy. How was Friday? How did that go with us being off?
It was good. I still don't know what you went and did. I feel like you did some mafia kind of a thing.
I did kid stuff at fall break.
Oh.
We went to the pumpkin patch in Mulberry.
Well, that's fun.
It's basically the most opposite thing you could possibly have when you're saying mafia stuff. The least
like
cool.
Normally you tell me what you're taking off for.
I thought I did tell you. It was just fall break. I had to be with the kiddos.
Well, I'm glad you had fun.
Yeah.
But the show went well. It was Matt Chodas, Will Wigington, and I. And then an interesting weekend of football. I didn't do anything too extravagant this weekend.
It was an odd weekend not having any sort of like big Louisville stuff.
I liked it. I enjoyed it.
It was a little reset, if you will.
Knowing that they were preparing, knowing that they were not knowing, because we actually haven't seemed to have good success of staying healthy at practice this season so far, Mike, but telling myself that they're getting healthy, telling myself that they're getting right, preparing, watching film, doing all the little things, and having extra time to do it as you get ready for a big opponent like this. It only means there should be even more room for success with a coach like Jeff Brom, who coaches well in these big games. But I liked not having a game. I liked knowing that there was nothing bad that could happen.
It was a nice little respite from, I think, the stress. I mean, because this has been the most stressful 4-1 start to a season that I can really remember. Nobody's been happy after any game, if we're being real. Pitt, we were relieved to win that game, but we thought we didn't play particularly well. And then last week, everyone was just, out for blood after the Virginia loss. So it was nice to kind of step back and take a little bit of a deep breath and get ready for, we have, because now it's full go. Basketball's basically here. We got the AP poll to talk about today. The Ken Palm rankings are out. We're a week and a half away from tip-off against Kansas in the first exhibition game. So you've got basketball now. It's no longer this distant, oh, boy, I can't wait. It feels like it's right there upon us. We're 3 weeks away from the start of the season, and then we have that glorious but hectic 1 month stretch where football and basketball are coexisting, and there's a lot to get ready for. There's a lot to account for. So this was kind of like the final catch your breath, look around, take it all in, say hi to the kids, say hi to your spouse, and then get ready for just nothing but U of L full tilt sports for a long period of time. And that's kind of how we treated it. Fall break, this was the least I didn't watch basically no college football on Saturday until I got home. I watched the end of Georgia-Auburn as the kids were heading to sleep in the hotel. And then yesterday, all I watched was Lions-Chiefs, which I wish I hadn't, but, what are you going to do? And so it was the least amount of sports that I've watched over a weekend in, I can't tell you how long, but we had
probably reset your equilibrium.
A little bit, but, also just kind of more like threw me off kilter than anything else, because then I woke up this morning and it's like, I've got 17,000 words to write or edit to get ready for this week, which I still am way behind. So, yeah, it was a rough, but, you got to spend time with the kids, Roman. It's part of being a dad. We did all of the Halloween stuff.
Being a good dad.
Yeah, part of being a good dad. We did Pumpkin Patch on Friday, which was nice. Then walked down Hillcrest for the first time this year. I'm sure we'll do it again because John it's quite literally all he cares about is Halloween decorations. Does not care about anything else, just wants to see Halloween decorations. So we did Hillcrest on Friday. That was fun. Saturday, we drove it to Holiday World. Had the passes, been waiting for a good time to use them. Drove up to Holiday World, had a fantastic time there. Finally got the kids to ride some fun rides. Like they did like the mini kid roller coaster, which they both were terrified. John was like howling, but
where like you're in the little teacups.
No, we did that too. But we did like it's like an actual kind of like kid-sized roller coaster.
Oh, cool.
And Virginia was very much like, she's like, I'll do it with you. Let's go. And then John was trying to bail, and then at the last second, he was like, I'll do it, I guess, if you hold me. And he was not thrilled about it, but he did it. We did like the fast spinning things. They do have a teacup ride there that we did. It was a lot of fun. Although, anytime you go to, I don't know if anybody's like me, where like Holiday World is awesome.
Love it.
It's fantastically set up. But it's kind of like going to the zoo here locally, where you just see different people.
Yeah.
You hear these stories where it's like 8 out of 10 Americans actually think that, chopping the legs off of pets is okay. And you're like, what? Like, 8 out of 10 parents believe that kids should not have, and they don't need to be supervised past the age of 2 months old. And you're like, who are these people? I don't know any of these people. And then you go to a place like this, and you're like, oh, they do exist. They're just people that zero accountability for their kids, just not paying attention to anything, just
kids stealing.
I mean, there was one we were getting ready to ride a carousel. It was a kid who's probably Virginia's age. He's like, I was like, I'm way the hell up here on this dolphin, Mom. And then the mom's like, oh, yeah. I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, how is this okay? What are you doing? But it was wonderful. We had a great time. But you do get out there and you're like, oh, those stats, those news stories, they're legit.
This is how the Hoosiers live, Mike. Just say it.
Maybe. I mean, I don't think it was just Hoosiers. A lot of Tennessee volunteer gear up there. A lot of different looks. A lot of different stuff going on up there. But we had a great time. Then we went from there. We drove to Indianapolis, spent the night, and then we went to the famous Indianapolis Children's Museum, which I hadn't been to since I think we went in like 5th grade for a class trip. I know I went with my family when I was little too. And that was awesome. They had a haunted house there, drove around Indianapolis, looked at some Halloween decorations for John, and then came back. But you talk about like being refreshed and getting the equilibrium back. Downtown hotels in big cities are by and large like the worst hotels, right? Because they don't have to have new amenities for you. They know if you're in a big city, people are going to stay downtown. They're going to fill those rooms up even if the hotels just suck. So it's like going to New York a little bit. You know what you're getting. You're not going to get a big hotel room. They're going to squeeze you in there. They're not going to have the fanciest new stuff because they know they can just charge an arm and a leg and people are going to pay it. This hotel in Indianapolis, so I'm not complaining because we got to stay for free. We had free passes to Holiday World. Mary used her Marriott points for the hotel. So free hotel room, free passes. We're doing it right. But I've slept on some bad pullouts before. So we stayed in a room that had just one twin bed. And then a pullout. So Mary slept in the twin bed, not the twin bed, the queen bed with the kids, which is crammed enough. And then I was going to do the pullout. We've done this before. I've never slept on I've slept on some bad pullouts before, like hotel rooms, friends' houses back in the day, apartments, what have you. It was like there was a bunch of tiny ghosts in there just punching me right in the rib cage throughout the night. Just these bars. I was like, where are these bars even coming from that are just sticking me right in the neck every time I try to roll over? I got no sleep whatsoever. Mary got up with Virginia at like 7:45 and was like, hey, if you want to go lie down with John until he wakes up, feel free. I've never had a better feeling. I don't think in my entire life than when I got in that bed. I was like, this is normalcy. This is fine. This is great. But that was the one downside to the entire weekend. I've never slept at a worse place. It was just miserable. And it's like, the hotel was kind of gross already, so I couldn't like sleep on the floor or anything. It was just rough. That was rough.
Does that museum you guys went to, does it have like a skywalk across it?
It does. Exactly.
I think I've been there a couple times.
It's one of the bigger and better children's museums in the country. I mean, it's huge. They've got all this cool stuff. It's a well-oiled machine too. Like they've got people that every little area to kind of show you how stuff works. They've got dinosaur excavation centers where the kids can get in there and dig. They've got it's very, very cool. And then they had a haunted house that you could pay a little bit extra to go through, and we did that. Virginia was terrified. She's like, what? She's 6 now. There were a lot smaller kids, but there was one area that was like scary, creepy, like bleeding from the face clowns, which I thought was a little bit much for a children's museum, but whatever. And she just, I could like feel her shaking next to me. I was like, oh, this is not good. But John loved it, and they got candy, so that was cool. They had like a dance party, and that brought Virginia back because she's just constantly performing. So it was a lot of fun. And I posted the videos. They have this really cool outside sports zone where like a bunch of basketball goals at various levels for kids to shoot on, and like a Pete Dye designed mini golf course. Tried to get Virginia to play. She gets super frustrated. She's very much her mom, and that was a complete disaster. We played the first hole like 5 times because every time she messed up, she had to, quote, start over.
Did you say what kind of course was it?
Like Pete Dye is like, arguably the most famous golf course designer in America, and he's from Indiana. He and his wife are, and so they had this like mini golf that's like based on his green designs. But we played the toddler course and got to do that. That was fun. Couldn't get the kid. John shot basketball for like 2 seconds, and that was all he cared about. But they have like football areas, like soccer areas. Like you could just kick. Like I would have just stayed out there. I was like watching other kids play just because my kids, all they cared about was the playground that was outside. But they had an area inside where you could do like a mock sports cast. They have you're on like a green screen, and you pick a highlight and you comment, and it tells you what to commentate. My kids, Virginia's learning how to read, but she can't really read, so it was tough for them. So I had to kind of tell her when to talk. But she was all into it. Like, she's sitting down next to the virtual host. She's got her like hands folded. She's doing her. She did it once and wasn't really sure what she was supposed to do, and then she wanted to do it again because she wanted to do it well. And she was very, very excited. She was locked into it, so that was fun. But it was a great weekend. Kiddos were very happy. Everyone was very tired when we got home last night, and then promptly got a chance to start a fire outside, eat some food, and then watch the Lions lose, which was, what are you gonna do? Got to beat the refs and the Chiefs when you're playing Kansas City in a game where they got to win. But we didn't deserve to win. Amon-Ra catches that ball on fourth down in the first half. It's a totally different game. He didn't. They got score at the end of the first half and got the ball to start the second half, and that was basically.
What do
we
think of the? I mean, are you talking about like where they went for it like 4 times?
No, I'm talking about we had the lead 10-6. We went for it on 4th and 2 just across midfield, and Amon-Ra St. Brown just dropped a ball.
What do you think of the Jared Goff touchdown that got called back?
I mean, I think it's awful convenient that they somehow they huddle up 5 minutes after the play happens. And
isn't that weird?
Yeah, it's not normal. We're ready to kick an extra point. It's been 2 minutes since the play happened, and it's we just have the replay official, the expert, the rules expert, who's like, I don't think that's a legal set, but it's not a reviewable play. And then like 30 seconds later, they throw a flag, and they're like, oh yeah, he didn't come set. Boom, penalty. Awful convenient. Also convenient when Travis Kelce is like, there's no flag thrown for pass interference until he gets right in the ref's face and like throws his hands up, and then immediately the ref throws the flag. Again, we could have controlled the game, but Amon-Ra's drop changed everything. We were playing the exact type of game we wanted to. We knew we had to control the ball because we have 5 defensive backs hurt. We knew we had to keep the ball away from them as much as possible. Amon-Ra catches that ball. We can score right before half. It's 13-6 or 17-6. They get the ball, and you can go back and forth. He doesn't score. Doesn't catch the ball, they're allowed to go down the field, and then they get it. They get to double up and get the ball to start the second half, and we just could not afford to play from behind by 10 points in that game, and that's what happened. So calls didn't help, but we could have helped ourselves a little bit more. But it was a good weekend, bro. Busy weekend.
Glad you had a good weekend.
Yeah, head is still hurting a little bit from lack of sleep on Saturday. Tried to make up for it last night. We're doing okay. We're feeling okay.
I went to this little bit of a vintage festival that was down at Paris Town Hall.
Oh, really? I've heard about this.
I didn't hear about it either. Holly had heard about it. It was like a bunch of different vendors, except there were majority that were all like vintage clothing, but a bunch of different like a couple older ladies that had like older jewelry and stuff. It wasn't just all vintage clothes for the age range of whatever that is, but it was a lot of different stuff. They had this music and this cool runway show where the people putting up on the show, I guess, were grabbing different items from different vendors and then letting their little model people walk up and down, and they were advertising the different stuff. So DJ that was playing music insanely loud for a runway show, that was super cool. I thought how he just didn't really care. He was just doing his thing.
Nice.
But that was fun in the perfect weather on Saturday that we had. One little thing that I didn't mention.
Very cool. I did not hear about that. Very nice. Love it. Let us know how you spent your bye week and other things on the Game Day Men's Health text line, which I did not announce at the beginning of the show. 502-414-1450 is the number to weigh in there. Questions, comments, concerns, whatever you got. Feel free. So we've got, lots to get to today. The AP poll is out for men's basketball. The Ken Palm rankings are out for men's basketball. It's Miami week. I don't know how. I can't get maybe it's because I've been away, haven't been spending much time on Twitter, haven't been spending much time on the website for the last 3 days. I don't really have a finger on the pulse of the Louisville fan base going into this week. Because, if we win the Virginia game, which basically it's an overtime loss. Let's say that they don't overturn the Isaac Brown catch. Okay, one last thing. Did you see the Travis Kelce catch last night where his hands are on the ass of the ball, and the whole ball hits the ground, and they didn't overturn it with replays. Detroit didn't challenge. The Chiefs got to the line really quickly and ran a play.
Got to challenge that.
But the replay official was like, that to me looks like a catch. Like, you're allowed to let I thought the ground couldn't assist a catch. I have no idea what targeting is. I have no idea what a catch is. Everyone always says the same stuff. But if that is a catch, someone explain to me how Isaac Brown's catch was not a catch. Because Isaac's looked 95% more like a catch than Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce has the the back of the ball in his hands.
Yeah, it just
Like
doesn't.
80% of the ball hits the ground, and you're telling me that's a catch by the rule, and Isaac's where it looks like maybe 3% of the ball maybe hit the ground, that's not a catch? I have no idea how that, like I saw that and I was like, well, that's the most obvious ball hit the ground I've ever seen in my entire life. And the replay guy's like, that would have stood as a catch if they challenged it. I'm like, how? I don't understand anything about the game I love anymore. The rules make no sense to me whatsoever. Make no sense at all. So that, yeah. Anyways, so that but if my point was that I was getting to, if that's called a catch, and we score a touchdown in overtime, and let's say the defense plays more inspired football, and we win that game, or hell, like any of the things that Miller Moss doesn't throw that ball, he's ruled down on the pick six. Like we were a razor thin margin away from winning that game and being 5-0.
It's a good snap on the field goal before the half.
Sure, that too. If any of those things happen, it's the same game 99.7% of the way, but one little thing changes. We're 5-0. We're ranked somewhere in the top 20, and I feel like everybody is talking about this as one of the biggest regular season games in program history. Can we go down there and take down Miami? Can we make a big national statement? Can we prove that we're a legit? Like you win that game, and people are like, man, they belong in the playoff, not just in the discussion. They're probably in the playoff as it is right now. But because none of those things happened, I feel it's not just we're unranked, we're not getting votes in the poll, nobody's taking us seriously. I think the fan base is kind of like, yeah, we're excited about the game, hope we can do something crazy, but I've got no faith. Again, that's my general sense, and I think that will change as we get deeper into the week and we get closer to kickoff and people get more excited. But as of right now, I just kind of feel like people are like, I'm so pissed off about the Virginia game, and I don't think we've got much of a chance this week. So the excitement level to kick off the week is much lower than I would have guessed this time 10 days ago. I mean, am I misreading the situation here? Where are you?
That's kind of what I'm seeing people are at for the most part, which I don't. It's not where I'm at, but it's what I'm seeing. It's what I'm reading.
Where are you with this game? Are you super excited, or are you just kind of waiting to get more into the flow as the week goes on?
Well, I'm not excited. This is the best all-around team in college football I think we're going up against on their home field, and they've actually been getting a pretty good turnout in their home games this season, it feels like. One thing, though, Mike, that does necessarily, it doesn't make me just chalk this game up as a loss in my head, and I can't really go there mentally, is throughout this season, if you just look at what's happened in every game so far this season for Louisville football, we've shown that we can play football that can go out there and beat Miami.
Sure.
On both ends. If we play the best brand of football that the defensive side's shown this season and the best brand of football that the offensive side has shown this season and put that all together and you limit the turnovers, I'm not even going to say the mistakes, just the turnovers. You would have seen a product that can go up there and can go down there and play with Miami, in my opinion. So that's one factor where I'm not necessarily saying if we can go play a perfect football game, but if you can go play a clean football game and just not do the little things that hurt yourself and give the other team the platform to take advantage of you, you've seen Louisville football already show that they can play at a really high level. So there's one positive there. I also, think that ideally getting healthy is another positive. Having this time off, having no chance to get more banged up, and then have the guys who are banged up get right, that's big as well.
Well, let's also, I think the big topic for Louisville fans this week, or the big rallying cry, is going to be Big Game Brom, right?
Yeah.
The reputation that Jeff had when he got the
small game
job,
Brom is.
Yeah, I mean, the reputation that Jeff had when he got this job, I think has only been strengthened by the last couple of years, which is he's going to win one that nobody thinks he's capable of winning, and he's going to lose one that we're going to get a couple big ones. We're going to give away a couple ones that we shouldn't give away. And I don't know if losing at home to a nationally ranked opponent in Virginia is really like giving away one, but it was a game we definitely should have won. It was a game that you felt like if you played anywhere near your best football, you would have won. And so I think the fan base is kind of like, all right, here's our quid pro quo. We lost the Virginia game. No business losing that game. Let's go down there and win a game against arguably the best team in college football right now on their home field, Friday night, nationally televised audience. that nobody right now is predicting us to win. Let's get it done. Like that. This is a Jeff Brom special, and I think there'll be a lot of national people saying the same things. One interesting note as we kick off the week, I know we got to go to break here in a second. The spread is 14 points or thereabouts, depending on where you look. Miami is a 2-touchdown favorite. The computer models, they all think this game is going to be much closer than that. Bill Connolly's S&P rankings has this as like 32-24 Miami. A couple of the other models that are out there have this as a single-digit game. The computers believe Louisville at this point is a better team than the humans do. And I think a lot of that is based on how thoroughly we dominated Virginia statistically, despite losing that game last week. So I think people will come around as we get closer to the week. But right now, Basketball chatter after the break. Keep it locked right here. It's the Mike Rutherford Show, Monday edition, 1450 The Big X. Welcome back in, 3 o'clock hour of the Mike Rutherford Show here, presented by United Mechanical and Nexus Plus. Reminder, John Burke and our guys over there at United Mechanical, they are Louisville's MVP for commercial and industrial HVAC, electrical, plumbing, and refrigeration services. Give them a call at 502-339-1133. You can also visit them online at UnitedMechanicalInc.com. Sorry, I started sneezing right before we came back. It's a hectic Monday here. We're disheveled, hectic Monday. but we're doing the best we can. I also was reacting. Maybe this is what started the sneeze. I just noticed I was tagged by like 17 different people on this Tony Patelis tweet from right when we started the show. Tony said, according to a source, DePaul beat Duke in a secret scrimmage last night in Chicago. Final score 114-67.
There's no way.
I've got to have more detail. I mean, Tony's a college basketball guy. I've got to have more details about this.
He wouldn't risk credibility if this wasn't true?
No. I mean, he's written for SI. He had his own website. He does bracketology.
Really?
Yeah. Like he knows people in the college basketball world. He's followed by all the people that matter in college basketball. I've known him professionally for years. So that is something. I get the whole, like, we don't need to overreact to scrimmages or exhibition results and all that stuff. But 114-67 in a secret scrimmage is, like, I don't care if Duke was only playing its walk-ons. I would expect the Duke walk-ons to keep it closer than, 40 points against DePaul. That seems outrageous. And here we are. What do we make of this? What do we do?
Rashawn just told me, I told you Duke was suspect.
I mean, I think Duke's overrated at where they are, which we're about to talk about in a second. I don't know if they're that overrated.
If that's true, Mike, that's really, really bad.
The ACC, is it doomed again? Read my column tomorrow.
I mean, what was Caden Boozer out there doing? Just turning it over?
Maybe they didn't play. I don't know. Yeah, maybe it's just a complete miseval on all these freshmen.
There's
yeah.
no way. This can't be real.
It's insane.
But then again, if you're saying the Tony Patelis guy wouldn't be lying,
he wouldn't be lying. I mean, unless this is like an elaborate joke that nobody gets. Or maybe DePaul's, maybe they're going to be loaded. Maybe this is finally the year for DePaul basketball. They finally tapped into that Chicago market. They're good to go. Speaking of college basketball, let's dive into it. It feels, we've been getting closer and closer, and we've done the whole, it's a month away from tip-off, a few weeks away, media days are happening. When the actual rankings start pouring in, that's when it really feels real, and you're like, oh, my God, it's almost time for hoops. And here we are now. We have the AP poll today. We had the Ken Palm rankings over the weekend. We'll start with the AP poll. Louisville will begin the season, as expected, nationally ranked for the first time since 2019. We are number 11 in the Associated Press preseason AP poll. I thought we would be somewhere between like 8 and 12. Not shocked that it's 11. I think a lot of people think it's too low. But it's in line where most people, there have been a few outliers that have had us up there at 4, 5, 6. But most of the humans that have done their network rankings for ESPN or CBS or what have you have had Louisville somewhere in that 9, 10, 11, 12 range. So this was not a gigantic shock to me. I know how you're going to answer this, Roman, but give me your thoughts. Too high, too low, just about right. What's your reaction to Louisville starting the season at number 11?
It's too low.
Okay.
We're better than 6 through 10.
Every team 6 through 10.
We're a better roster, especially if what you just said about that secret scrimmage is true.
Well, I know you think we're better than number 1, too.
They shouldn't be up there.
Purdue is number 1.
Braden Smith can't defend. If your lead guard can't defend, you can't win in March. I'm going to make a shirt. I'm going to get that on a shirt when they lose in the Sweet 16. I understand the cost around. Geez, I always mess that up. The roster continuity, but they've got the shooting, but they don't have a lot of athletic defending, in my opinion, Mike, just to be warranted for that high in my eyes. And I just, are they really, really better than Houston? I don't think so. I'm not really mad at the top 5, though.
Let's just say what it is. A lot of white guards on that team.
A lot of them.
A lot of white guards. They're good.
They move off the ball well.
There's a whole. It's not hard to foresee a situation when, if Purdue does lose in the NCAA tournament, people point to a lack of athleticism as the reason. It's they played Houston in the Sweet 16 last year, and they were just physically dismantled in that game. Like just
Braden couldn't get inside the arc, Mike.
No, I mean they scored 50 points. I think the final score. I'm saying, doing this off the top of my head, I think it was 62-50. I'm gonna be impressed if I got that right. 62-50.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at you.
This is an offense. I do think the offense is going to be very good this year. But everybody is just assuming they're going to be like the best offense in college basketball, and they'll be able to do, what they do against Iowa, against anybody in the country. And I just don't think that's the case. Having said that, like, they're not my preseason number one, but they are my preseason number two. I think they'll be very good. I'm kind of with you, though, on I understand why Braden Smith is the default national preseason player of the year. I wouldn't give him the award. My vote, if you're asking me, and I've got one for one of the organizations out there, is going to Yaxel Lendeborg for Michigan. I think he's going to be a monster. It's more me because the preseason player of the year is more of like a career achievement award up to this point. Some people view it as I'm trying to predict who's going to be the postseason player of the year, which is what I do. But most people are like, he's earned it. He's been around for a long time. He was a first-team All-American last year. So he'll win that award. But I would not wager a hefty amount of money or really any amount of money on him actually being the postseason consensus national player of the year. I'm going with Yaxel, my guy at Michigan, as much as I hate to admit it. But
I want to go with Isaiah Sellers.
See, I think there's a problem there. Rick Pitino's out there saying he's our point guard. That's our guy. We saw him last year multiple times. I don't think Isaiah Sellers is a point guard.
I know.
I think that's going to go poor.
Yeah.
I also don't think he's going to score enough in that system to be like national.
Ian Jackson's what worries me about that. I think that kid's inevitable. And at that combo guard spot, you're going to probably get a more efficient play.
I think you better hope he's inevitable.
If you put the ball in Isaiah's hand and let him do him, I think he'll have the usage.
Yeah, I think that's the plan, but I just don't think he can handle it. I think he's an off guard, but we'll see. Rick tends to figure these things out pretty well, so we'll trust him to get that figured out. But Purdue, first time in the history of the program, Roman, they've been preseason number one. It's actually they'd only been ranked number two once before. It was 87-88 back in the Gene Katie years. They have been, fun fact here right off the bat, number one in the AP poll 14 times in program history. All 14 have occurred under the watch of Matt Painter. That's awfully impressive. But you know what he hadn't done? Won a national title. We'll see if he gets it done. If they do get it done this year, trivia time again. When was the last time the preseason number one in the AP poll actually wound up winning the national championship?
Number one.
Give me a year.
$2018.
Longer ago.
We weren't number one.
We were number two. Indiana was number one in 2012-13.
Wasn't 2012? Was it?
No. Kentucky was number two. North Carolina was number one.
04.
Close. 2008-2009. North Carolina Tar Heels, Tyler Hansbrough and company. Could have been us if we had not had Karen Cipher just trying to hold our program hostage.
It's not worth beat me to it.
Yeah. 08-09, North Carolina was preseason number one. That is the last time that a preseason AP number one team has finished the season number one. It's been a rough go of it for number one teams preseason the last handful of years. Kansas the last 2 years has had arguably its two worst seasons under Bill Self. 3 years ago, Carolina became the first preseason number one in AP poll history to not even make the NCAA tournament.
Terrible.
So it's been not exactly a badge of pride for Purdue. I guess it is, but it's kind of a dubious distinction at this point. They are your preseason number one, though. They got 32 out of a potential 65 first-place votes. Houston is number two. They got 16 first-place votes. Reigning national champion Florida is number three. They got 8 first-place votes. And then UConn, who's number 4, is the only other team to receive any first-place votes. They got 2. Rick Pitino and St. John's round out the top 5. The rest of the top 10, who are the only teams ranked ahead of Louisville, Duke at 6. I think that's too high. Michigan at 7. BYU at 8. Kentucky at 9. Texas Tech at 10. Roman, which of those angers you the most? Because you said you think we're better than all 5 of those teams.
The most? I mean, I can't be mad at Michigan. I think if you made me redo it, I'd have Michigan. If you made me keep the top 5 and redo it from there, I'd have Michigan at 6. I think I'd have us at 7. Texas Tech, I don't think they're going to be that good, Mike.
I think Tech's going to be good. Duke is the one where I'm like,
Duke's too high.
this is all name recognition. I could be wrong about that, but the Paul early results are making me feel a little bit better about that prediction. What do you make of? So Kentucky fans are pissed off that they're at 9. What do you make of that?
I'm surprised they're in the top 10. Figured like you kind of be Duke, Kentucky, Louisville all in that same bit of area with Louisville having the advantage over those two. That's kind of what I was predicting.
I think 9 is fine for that team. I know Kentucky fans think they're better. Louisville fans think they're better. This is classic fandom. It'll all get figured out. I think UK fans are more upset because these rankings come on the heels of the KenPom rankings, which came out on Saturday. And those rankings have Kentucky at number 4. So the computers like the Wildcats a lot more than the humans do. That's been kind of a thing this entire offseason. And the computers have been mostly lower on Louisville than the humans have, which leads us to the conversation about the KenPom rankings. I'm a big KenPom believer. The good thing about his preseason rankings have typically, if you go back and look at the last decade, there are 1 or 2 teams that are horribly misranked, but they're typically far more accurate than the preseason AP poll or the preseason coaches poll. There are teams where people will look up and they're like, after a month of the season, I can't believe that KenPom had this team at 8, and they'll drop down in his rankings a little bit, and then by the end of the season, they're close to where they were at the beginning of the year. So
where does he have BYU finishing? Because I don't think they finish in the top 10, Mike.
He does not like BYU as much as the humans do. KenPom's rankings have BYU at 18.
8 is ridiculous.
I think that it's people are getting caught up in the excitement, and I put myself in that category.
Is the Sounders kid, can he do more than anything but can he shoot? Is that it? Or can he do more than shoot, Mike?
He can score. Yeah, I think he's good off the bounce. He's a versatile scorer.
Is he like a Connor Knipple type?
Yes, I think that's a good comparison. Now, my question is, how good is AJ DeBanza going to be as a true freshman? I think we watched him play in that FIBA tournament. His next level potential was apparent, but as far as like his overall skill and his ability to play the game, there were times where you were like, man, he just doesn't look. I'm like, this is the guy, and Michael Brown looked way better than he did just playing basketball. But then he would flash, he'd pops off the screen
because he has athletic guards giving the ball.
Yeah,
not an offense.
I get the NBA potential. NBA potential doesn't always correlate with really effective, really high level college basketball player in this day and age, and I kind of wonder how that's going to work. That's my biggest question there. I mean, they're going to be fun as hell to watch, though. They'll get up and down. Being able to get the kid from Baylor over here to the team, was it right? Being able to get Mawat Mag is a big deal. They'll be good. I think they'll be very, very fun. But I would not be shocked at all if they're closer to KenPom's ranking than they are the AP ranking when all's said and done. Now, what do you make of Louisville at 14 in the KenPom rankings? He projects that Louisville's going to be the 5th best offensive team in college basketball, and
someone who we have projected to be a pretty productive player this coming season is Frew, Mike, and there's no way to really know how good he's going to be in those kind of rankings and systems. I'm sure he has ways to correlate the overseas stats, but there's a lot of question marks around Louisville, and you can only really go off what there is factual evidence on against college basketball play, and that's our backcourt right now. And then the question marks on, Kanai, we think he's going to make this jump. We think he's this. We think he's that. We think Hazen Pryor is going to be the greatest, extra type of player we've got just coming off of his injury and getting back right at the time we kind of predict that to happen. There's little things like that don't go into the metrics, I would think, as much as we are putting them into our own personal metrics. So I'm not mad at this. I think we'll be better than 38 defensively because I think that Frew is better than that. I think Adrian Willie will surprise people. I think overall pace of play and the style of play will take advantage of bad teams, and the numbers will make us look really good defensively. So I think it's all just subject to improve, and they're kind of guessing right now anyway.
For sure. I mean, it's the way the computer rankings work. And like you said, there's a lot that they can't really account for. They've got no idea what to make of Sananda Frew. You've got no idea what to make of Kason Pryor coming back from injury.
When we beat a Bucknell 100-40, we'll go up a little bit.
The KenPom rankings won't take into account any exhibition results. They'll hold.
Oh, that's right.
They won't take into account. But the good thing about the Ken Palm rankings is they do adjust pretty quickly. Like if they think a team stinks and that team goes out there, like if we went out there and we beat Kentucky handily in our third game, it'll adjust accordingly. And UK will go down and we'll go up, and it'll all work itself out. But they've got the Ken Palm rankings. Houston at 1, Florida at 2, Purdue at 3. So the computers don't like Purdue nearly as much as the humans do, but they like Kentucky way more. Kentucky is 4, UConn is 5, and then the one team that the computers love way more than the humans is Illinois, who they've got up there at 6. I'm kind of with the computers on this. I think Illinois is going to be pretty good. They've got Duke at 7, Gonzaga at 8, which,
Guessing.
Ken Palm loves Gonzaga every single year. People get all upset about it. This is another. I typically am on the Gonzaga side. This is a year where I'm on the human side. I don't think Gonzaga's top 10 good. I think they'll be good, well enough, but the computers, they love Gonzaga. And then Tennessee, who we will play in December, they've got it number 9, UCLA at 10. It's an interesting, definitely a different combination of teams than you got in the human polls. But if you're wondering, like I said, there's always a couple of teams in the top 15 in the computer rankings and the human rankings, for that matter, that are just big misses at the end of the season. Here was Ken Palm's top 15 last year. So Houston at 1, played for the national title. Duke at 2, made it to the Final Four. Auburn at 3, made it to the Final Four. Alabama at 4, pretty good. UConn at 5, kind of a miss. Everybody missed on UConn. The humans even more so than the computers. And then the other team, Ken Palm was lower on Kansas, who was everybody's preseason number 1, but he still had them at 6. So better, but still a miss. Iowa State at 7, pretty good. Arizona at 8, pretty good. Gonzaga at 9, a little bit of a miss. Purdue at 10, right about right. Baylor at 11, a little bit higher than they should have been. Creighton at 12, okay. Tennessee at 13, okay. North Carolina at 14, that's a miss. And Texas Tech at 15. So by the time you got to the end of the season, those preseason rankings, pretty good. Now, the one thing that you can say is Ken Palm had Florida at 28, and Florida wound up winning the national title. So not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but for the most part, more accurate than the humans are when all said and done. Hopefully they're wrong in this case, because hopefully Louisville can be this year's Florida, outside the top 10, kind of like right there in the middle, but I'll take it. It'll all get worked out. It'll all figure itself out. We just have to take care of business on the court. Now, the one thing that the computer rankings do kind of give us some insight on is the spread for the Kentucky game, because typically the opening spread is right there in line with Ken Palm's projections. And as of right now, Ken Palm has Kentucky beating Louisville 82-81. So if the game were played today, even though it's on a home floor, I think UK would be probably a 1-point favorite, or it would be somewhere in that pick'em range, depending on if the odds makers wanted to give a little bit of a human nod to Louisville after what they see in these first 2 games. But that's going to be, the spread is going to be very small for that game, barring something unforeseen happening when Louisville plays South Carolina State and Jackson State, and Kentucky plays Nichols and Valpo. That spread should be right there around a pick'em. So if you really like Louisville and you really feel like we've got the upper hand on Kentucky this year, you can make some money in that game if you want to. Roman, are you running to the wagering app right now?
You know I'm not betting on us, Mike.
You're not?
No.
Why not?
I don't need to worry about it. I like to
No
my
happiness
takes on
there.
the game and what I think's going to happen in the game be correct. If they have a Michael Brown 15-point prop out by that point, and he's averaging 12 and that 15 is at plus 105, I'm not going to sit here and say I won't take that, but I'm not betting on Louisville as a team in any games this season.
Now, the other thing that came out over the weekend when it comes to Ken Palm, and this infuriated Kentucky fans who now are singing the praises of Ken Palm because they're number 4 and we're number 14, but they announced that Ken Palm has a coaching component.
Yep.
Where there's a built-in advantage to teams that have historically coaches that have overachieved or that are really good in particular areas. And it's the big reason why Auburn is very low. He dropped after Bruce Pearl retired, and Stephen Pearl is such an unknown commodity. Auburn dropped substantially from where they were supposed to be in his preseason rankings. But if you're looking at the coaching component, to this. Somebody went in and pulled all the data, and it shows that Ken Palm's model right now has Kelvin Sampson as the best coach in college basketball. I think that's fair. He's done a remarkable job in a program that had been doing nothing for like 25 years until he got there, and all of a sudden he's winning 35 games every single year. He's got Grant McCaslin at number 2. Grant McCaslin, great coach. Randy Bennett has worked miracles at St. Mary's, does it every year. He's got Randy Bennett at number 3. He's got Pat Kelsey right now as the 4th best coach in college basketball. He's got Pat Kelsey, by the way, as the best offensive coach in college basketball. Ranks him as the number 1 offensive coach. 32nd defensively, but nobody coaches offense better than Pat Kelsey, according to Ken Palm's Bible. He is good for a bump in 2.4785, blah, 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 repeating percentage points in his algorithm. That's how good Pat Kelsey is. 1 spot ahead of Rick Pitino, 2 spots ahead of Danny Hurley.
He's almost hitting the 3 game himself, Mike.
Woo! Do we like this?
I love this.
I love this. Mark Pope, by the way, number 18 in these rankings.
It's not necessarily, though, top team coaches aren't necessarily ever going to be at the top, though, right?
What do you mean?
If it's based on if overachieving and your win percentage on
Well, it's not based on overachieving. It's just based on overall acumen. I mean, Danny Hurley's 6, Rick Pitino's 5. It's based on, like, this is not a 2025, 2026 specific thing. It's based on the longevity of your career.
Okay.
So if Pat Kelsey went to, if we had the craziest thing in the world happen and Pat Kelsey says, hey, I'm quitting, I'm taking the Auburn job, Auburn would get a pretty substantial boost in its overall rating from Ken Palm going into the season just by having Pat Kelsey as their head coach.
Because he's added on 2.67 points percentage added or whatever it is.
Yeah, Ken Palm, because Ken Palm, a big part of his his model is historical data. It says, his algorithm will say, if a program has been consistently good for the last 25 years, even if it looks like their roster is like the 78th best, we're going to bank on them being a few spots higher just because historically they've always been pretty good, which is why it took it forever to adjust to the first year of Kenny Payne and why our spreads for the first month and a half were just so out of whack. I mean, you could have made generational wealth by betting against Louisville for the first month and a half because, Ken Palm was like, there's no way. there's no way they're this bad. They've been kind of bad before. Nothing like this, though. So, we would be 1-8 and still like 108 in the Ken Palm rankings. And it took him a while to finally be like, oh, my God, okay, we have to adjust. And then we dropped down to like 290. And the spreads got to where they were supposed to be based on his projections because it just took him a while. Like, the models usually say, like, you're going to bounce back at some point because you've always been good. And it took a Kenny Payne to break the thing. So Pat Kelsey, though, historically has been the best coach in offense since he took over the Winthrop program. And that's going to help Louisville when it comes. So if we didn't have Pat Kelsey, if we had Chris Mack or Kenny Payne, we would be substantially lower than 14th going into this season. By the way, the rest of the top 10, Kyle Smith is number 7, Mark Few is number 8, Chris Beard is number 9, and Steve Forbes, who, I love, but he's got to kind of show some results at some point. He is number 10 on this list. So there you go. College basketball, Roman. It's right around the corner.
Almost here.
We should be getting, I believe,
days away, Mike.
We're hours away. We should be getting the ACC preseason poll up at some point in the relatively near future. We should be getting the preseason all ACC teams coming up. I think either today or tomorrow. I guess there's never any clarity on when these things come out, but we'll find out. I would assume Louisville's going to be number 2 in the preseason ACC poll. I would assume that Ryan Conwell and Michael Brown will end up on like one of the teams. Preseason all-conference. Michael will probably get some love for preseason freshman of the year, but it's going to go to the Boozer kid from Duke because it's Duke, and they've got a billion voters in the AP poll. So just brace yourself for that. It's going to be fine. A couple quick hitters before we go to break. Louisville-Boston College, the game coming up in a couple of Saturdays. That will be a 7:30 kickoff on the ACC network. Night game at L&N Stadium. Let's just imagine for a second. Let's dream a big dream here. You beat Miami. You're back in the ACC race. Maybe you get a couple crazy results in the ACC this year that a couple teams with no losses take their first loss in upset fashion. You beat Miami. You're back in the top 25. You get BC at home, 7:30. Could be a cool environment. Let's just dream here. You lose to Miami, it's probably going to be kind of not a great crowd for homecoming, but hopefully it's the latter. Cards are 13.5-point underdogs if you look at DraftKings right now. FanDuel also has this as a 13.5-point spread. Other spots have 14-point spreads. Miami, in case you were wondering, they also were off this past weekend, still riding the high of their remarkable 5-0 start. They are up to number 2 in the country in the AP poll. They received 13 first-place votes, the most of any team besides number 1 Ohio State. So we will be playing a number 2 team, I believe, for the first time since that FSU game in 2016, which is a pretty big spotlight in our program. We have
sword to your shoulder right now. You've got to get on the sports book and wager. Do we cover?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
I love it.
That's where I am right now. I will take a break when we come back. I've got a question for Roman to kick off hour number 2, and then we'll turn things over to you guys in the Game Day Men's Health text line, 502-414-1450. Your hour's up next here on 1450 and 96.1 The Big X. Hour number 2 of the Monday edition of the Mike Rutherford Show, presented by United Mechanical and Nexus Plus, 1450 96.1 Big X Sports Radio. Hope everyone had a fantastic weekend. It's finally feeling like fall out there. It's spooky season. We're enjoying it. Hope you're enjoying it as well as we dive deeper and deeper into football season and also inch closer and closer to basketball season. Would you like a little bit of a, I guess it's positive, depending on how you look at it. Positive note to kick off hour number 3 here, Roman.
Always.
Out of the teams that have 0 or 1 loss remaining in college football, if you rank their strength of schedule, only 3 of those teams have easier remaining schedules than Louisville does. Louisville has the 54th ranked toughest remaining schedule out of the 136 teams in the FBS. The only teams with easier schedules
Are both ACC teams.
well, there are 3 of them. 2 of them are ACC teams. The easiest schedule remaining in college football for a team with 0 or 1 loss belongs to the Virginia Cavaliers. Second, the Miami Hurricanes. Third, Texas Tech Red Raiders. And then we're sitting there at 4, just 2 spots ahead of Indiana, who has the 52nd toughest remaining schedule left in college football. Ohio State's just behind them at 45th. What do we make, by the way? We haven't done proper reaction, overreaction, or any sort of weekend recap nationally. Indiana goes on the road, knocks off Oregon. I mean, I think we have to say it at this point. Like, Indiana's way better than us at football right now.
Yeah.
And I hate it.
I knew the offense was serious, Mike, but that defense was on display as well, and it surprised me. The defense surprised me.
I thought they were going to everyone's like, oh, Oregon's going to smack them. I told friends, I was like, I think they'll keep this close. I thought Oregon would win. I thought Indiana would cover. I mean, Indiana won 30-20, and it probably should have been like 30-10. Like, they dominated that game. They looked like the better team. Kurt Cignetti, at this point, what do we do but say, guy's the real deal? There's no way around it. He has, because I think everybody around here is saying what Indiana's done has upped the pressure on Jeff Brom. What Indiana's doing is up the pressure on everybody. Every program across the country that has had modest success or like no success at the highest level of college football is pointing at Indiana and saying, look, see, those guys, what do they have that we don't have? Why can't you, if you're an Oklahoma State fan or a Texas Tech fan or whoever, an Iowa fan, Northwestern, you're like, look at Indiana. They made the right hire, snap of a finger. They go from 0 football history to making the playoff in year 1 and being number 3 in the country halfway through year 2 and looking like a damn near lock to make the playoff again. Why the hell couldn't we do that? And I think that it does put some pressure on Jeff Brom, but it puts pressure on everybody who has a fan base that wants to do what Indiana has done. I mean, James Franklin gets axed at Penn State, which we also haven't talked about. I mean, I've pointed and laughed at James as much as anybody over the years, big game James. It's still shocking to see somebody who was not just in the playoff semifinals 10 months ago, but ranked in the top 5 16 days ago, now looking for a job. I mean, that is a remarkable quick trigger from the folks at Penn State. I'm not saying it's right or it's wrong. I'm just saying if this were 10 years ago, if this were 30 years ago, people would be completely dumbfounded that something like this could happen. But it's a new era, Roman. People want results. They want them now.
They've got money now, too, though, Mike.
They got that Adidas money.
They've got Penn State kind of money now.
Apparently Adidas wanted him out. That's what they're saying. Which, if Adidas was able to pull the trigger on James Franklin, could we not have gotten them to pull the trigger on Kenny Payne? All things being equal, we kind of have more basketball history than Penn State has football history. If they want to argue, they have to admit it's at least kind of apples to apples. So, if we went 4-28 with the head coach, I feel like that's more of an excuse to fire him immediately than a coach who is coming off of a national semifinal appearance and who just lost to bad teams in back-to-back weeks. If they had that much pull,
Josh, you could have just blamed Adidas.
That's the thing. Like, now,
you just said Adidas made us. We have to.
This is the blueprint moving forward. If the worst happens and Jeff Brom, we have a terrible finish to the season, and Jeff's not getting it done next year, but it's not 100% cut and dry, but you want to fire him, just fire him and leak that Adidas made you do it.
Adidas made the call.
They gave us all the money to make this happen. Because now all these Penn State fans are like, oh my God, Adidas is going to pony up the money to get us Urban Meyer. They're going to go get us Saban. Like they think that they're going to hire the biggest of all, because Adidas has this billion-dollar bankroll that they're willing to shell out for Penn State football, and it's probably not going to happen. They're going to end up getting Matt Rule or Scott Satterfield or somebody like that. But crazy stuff happening in the world of college football. I was shocked that they actually did it. I thought it was interesting that he did seem to stare at the field for a long period of time after that loss, and people were like, "Ooh, he's taking it in, maybe for the last time." I was like, "There's no way." I was like, they'll have a big heart-to-heart discussion and say, you need to step it up or you're going to be gone. But to actually pull the trigger is just it's nuts. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad thing or a good thing. I'm just saying it's wild. It's crazy that you could have that resume and things could turn that quickly. 502-414-1450 is the Game Day Men's Health text line. Whatever's on your mind, we will get to it during this hour. Hit us up. And also, want to remind you guys, Game Day Men's Health, redefining men's wellness. No shortcuts, just results. We're talking testosterone, peptides, weight loss, and sexual performance therapy. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com to find out how they are defining a new, era in men's health. Texter says, if we're offering G League players, can we extend an offer to LeBron? He never played in college. Maybe he'd want to add NCAA champion to his resume to make sure that he gets into the Hall of Fame. So we are joining the ranks now, Roman, of programs that are offering players that have spent the last couple of years in the G League. This came up, 2 days ago, that we are recruiting. What's the kid's name?
I didn't write it. I've already forgotten.
I've already forgotten it too. This was when I was like halfway paying attention to sports. This Ahmed Abdullah. I take it back. Abdullah Ahmed is his name. Louisville is one of 6 schools that have already offered him. Auburn, BYU, Houston, Mississippi State, and UCLA are also in the mix. This comes a month after the ruling for the kid, Thierry Darlin, who had also previously played in the G League. They ruled he was eligible to play D1 hoops at Santa Clara. So now a lot of people are coming in trying to recruit these players. Yeah, I mean, if it's allowed,
Take advantage of the rules while you can, Mike. I don't like it. I don't support it, but I'm all for taking advantage of rules to make your team better while you can.
I think Jeff Brom has said it before. We're in such a state of flux when it comes to college basketball. You never know how long these rules are going to be out there. And he always says, all you can do is utilize the rules to the best of your advantage while you can. And this is Pat Kelsey kind of doing this. Now, this is a big man, 6'10", 220. He was born in Egypt, did not put up big stats in the G League when he was playing there or in the International League, kind of a project player, but clearly has a lot of ability.
Always liked Egypt. Bring him in.
We've had some success with Egyptian big men. We'll see how much more success we have this season with Ali Khalifa at center. So, yeah, let's go. But, no, I don't think we can offer LeBron because he had an actual NBA contract. These G League players are not actually contracted by NBA teams and have not played for NBA teams. So, I guess that's the difference there. By the way, your boy LeBron, not starting the season because of sciatica.
I saw this.
I've never felt a NBA injury more. LeBron and I are just like 3 months away in age. I'm telling you, if we can compare my body to LeBron's body, which, my God, we should, I feel it. Like, I know what you're going through. I'm basically LeBron at this point.
Preseason load management is crazy.
I get it, though. Would like to see LeBron sleep on that air mattress or that pull-out couch in Indianapolis Marriott. See how, he'd be out for 2 months. It's terrible. You can't bounce back the way that you used to. I get it. Texas says 3 years ago, if I told you that in October 2025, Scott Satterfield would be in a better position to win a conference title at Cincy than Brom at Louisville and Luke Fickell at Wisconsin, what would your reaction be? I wouldn't have believed it. Just being honest. I mean, we already just 10 minutes ago were biting the bullet about Kurt Signetti. It's a long season. We're halfway through it. As of right now, kind of got to bite the bullet a little bit with Scott Satterfield. Do we not?
I think it's only a matter of time before it comes crashing.
I keep saying that. They keep going out there and winning football games. I'm waiting for it. I mean, I thought the Iowa State win a couple of weeks ago was when I was like, all right, maybe this is a new Scott Satterfield. Scott Satterfield, the Scott that I know, the Scott that I've known, the Scott that I've known previous to Louisville, at Louisville, after Louisville, he loses that game, and they smacked them. And they turn around, they played kind of a classic, boring Satterfield game this weekend, beat UCF 22-11. The rest of their schedule sucks. They're kind of like us. They're right in that ballpark. They're at Oklahoma State this weekend, who's terrible. They play Baylor after that, who's not great. At Utah and versus BYU are kind of the only tough games they've got left. They've got a shot, man. They got a quarterback. Swordsby's looked good for them. I don't like this, but he's doing a good job down there. or up there? I'm waiting for you to say something. You have no thoughts on Cincinnati and Scott Satterfield.
It's only a matter of time, Mike. It is only a matter of time.
So you still think this is the same old Scott Satterfield and he's just window dressing, and at some point in time, Cincinnati fans are once again going to be let down?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I had a buddy up at the game, Mike. He said UCF, if they could have just stopped fighting themselves, shooting themselves in the foot, they were playing harder.
Well, that sounds like another fan base I know. It sounds like us.
It does sound like us. But
yeah. I mean, I know that it's uncomfortable for us to make these comparisons, but we were very willing to do it. And this is not me. Like, I certainly did it as much as anybody. We were very willing to make these comparisons the last 2 years when it looked like Cincinnati had done the dumbest thing in the entire world by taking Satterfield away from us, paying us to do it, and allowing us to bring Jeff Brom in. But it's year 3. Year 3 is when you're supposed to be, as a new head coaching hire, really hitting the ground running, really going. And he's clearly having his best season at Cincinnati. They're nationally ranked. They've lost one time. They're in the playoff mix.
They casually haven't beaten anybody good.
They haven't. You're not wrong about that. The win that they had over Kansas was good, but it's not like a great hang your hat on it win.
Iowa State already not ranked anymore.
Iowa State's not ranked anymore, but they did beat them when they were 14th. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think they're the 24th best team in college football, but they've accomplished more than we have so far this season. That's just being honest about it.
No comment on that.
No. I mean, we haven't beaten anybody. Although that Pitt win looking a little bit better now, isn't it?
A little bit. They surprised me. Lost a lot of people some money.
Can we all? I thought that game might be close, but I was like, I mean, where was that freshman against us? Why were they not playing? Like, that guy, they beat Boston College by 50 with him, and then
Well, if that freshman would have had a little bit more time out there.
They beat Florida State. I mean, maybe that guy should have been playing the full game against us because he looks awfully good so far. But, yeah, we also need to make sure that we hammer this point home. And it's our duty as Louisville, the trolliest Louisville radio show hosts there are out here, to make you aware of this so that you can make all of your UK fan friends aware of this as well. We have an 0-3 ACC team out there that beat down a 3-0 SEC team at the beginning of the season. Florida State now, which beat Alabama 31-17, is 0-3 in the little old ACC, while Alabama's out there just wrecking fools in the SEC. I think we deserve at least 5 teams in playoff. Let us in. Come on. Facts are facts, Roman.
Facts are facts, Mike.
0-3 better than 3-0. Texture says, Boxcar Bob, back from Appalachian Mountains. I was MIA all last week, backpacking the first 80 miles of the Appalachian Trail with Buddy in Georgia. As you can imagine, my contact to the outside world in Louisville athletics were a bit limited, so catch me up to speed. Can I get a Cliff Notes of the last week of U of L Sports? Yeah, we can't do that, man. We can't give a week recap to just one listener. We love you, Boxcar Bob, but we can't make that happen.
Find it all on CardChronicle.com.
Find it all on Car Chronicle. The podcasts are out there, man. Go listen to the shows. I mean, you could probably guess people were very upset about the Virginia loss, and that was pretty much the entire week. That's the whole week. Texter says, hey, Mike, welcome back. Just wondering if you have any info on a general vibe check of how the football team has responded in practice after the Virginia loss with a bye week. And on the basketball side, any new info on the vibes of landing Colbin Andrew this week? You're not going to like the answers to definitely one of the questions. So someone else, producer Keith was saying, he's like, have you heard anything about like the running backs? I've not heard anything from football over the last week. So normally that means like good things. Like no news is good news. I feel like given the vibes since the season started, that's kind of like not great news. Like I want somebody to tell me that everybody's healthy, everybody's focused, everybody's raring to go, and I've just not heard anything. The Colbin Landrew thing, the news from over the week, I think Louisville's still trying, but it certainly sounds like he's going to commit to UConn. Unless everybody out there is just lying and this is a giant smokescreen and Landrew's kind of playing along. It sounds like he's going to UConn. And like I said last week, this isn't one of those where I'm going to try or anybody can really try to to pivot and to say, well, Louisville had some concerns here or there, or Louisville wasn't willing to do this and all that. Louisville really, really wanted to get Colvin Landrew. They pulled out all the stops with him. Like this was a guy that they thought could be a fantastic player next year, maybe a guy that could play 2 seasons. They love his personality. They love his overall demeanor. There's a reason why UConn, which has been as good as anybody over the last 5 years under Hurley, why they went all in on him. Like, this is, I think, going to be a big-time college basketball player, and unfortunately, it sounds like his visit to UConn went very, very well, and he's leaning towards going there. We'll find out very shortly, but does not sound good on that front. But I think we'll keep trying. Texas PRTG here. Well, once again, Detroit teams know how to bleep with a fan's soul and blow a weekend. Man, if you were a Michigan sports fan, the Tigers lose in the most excruciating of fashions to the Mariners. Michigan gets whooped up by USC. Michigan State gets embarrassed by UCLA. The Lions lose to the Chiefs. And I think there was somebody else. I feel like I'm missing one. That just, like, somebody added up all the scores from the Detroit football, the Michigan football teams.
The Philadelphia Flyers.
They got beat too? Well, that Philadelphia Flyers aren't in Michigan. The Detroit Red Wings are.
Wait, no, that's what I meant.
The Red Wings lost?
Was it the Red Wings?
The Red Wings kind of stink, so. Probably. He continues, I do blame my wife, though. She makes me listen to some Taylor Swift song yesterday morning, then doesn't wear her golf jersey during the game that she just got for our Campbell Golf couples costume. Typing this made me think, though, her being golf doesn't mean I want to have sex with him like when George dates the woman that looks like Jerry, right? No, my wife also has a Jared Goff jersey, so. And, yeah, she didn't wear it last night either. Our wives are just letting us down, PRTG. But no, you're fine. Texas high school football is easy to bet on, Mike Rutherford, and then said, yeah, I was wrong. I picked Manual, Senex 28, Manual 17. You got that one, Roman. I think you had another week where you got a couple on me.
I can't remember the differences.
Let's see. I've got it right here. We actually only had 2 differences. We had 3 differences. You won all 3. I took Missouri over Alabama. That was dumb.
Don't know why you did that.
They had a chance. And then I took Oklahoma over Texas. I also bet that game. And you had those 2, and then you had San X over Manual. So I believe my lead now is down to 2.
Yeah, 1 or 2.
Yeah, it's a commanding lead, and now it's just crapped it away. I had a good betting weekend, though, for the first time in a long time. I did lose that Oklahoma-Texas bet, but I hit a 7-team moneyline parlay where my only, it was a bunch of heavy favorites, and then I went hard on USC to beat Michigan because I had a good feeling about that. Hit on that, hit on a moneyline parlay with the 3 NFL games yesterday, and then Sam Laporta anytime touchdown. Good weekend.
And an extremely weird betting weekend.
What does that mean?
Hit the ticket punchers, big X, big bets. Turned a little bit of money. Had a pretty good day live betting on Saturday. Won about $90. Lost it all in the 1 p.m. game Sunday.
Yeah.
Then I made 115 last night on the Chiefs game. So got something to work with this week.
We were walking around the Children's Museum yesterday, and there were tons of disgruntled Colts fans. Obviously, watching the game on their phone as they were threatening to lose to the Cardinals. And they were all just all these dads just looking angry in their Andrew Luck jerseys from 10 years ago. It's quite the scene. Texas, what's up, Mike and Roman? Do we actually have a backup quarterback worth anything? If not, why not? We are quarterback U and point guard U, right? Well, we're definitely PGU. By the way, Chucky's balling right now in the NBA preseason.
He is.
I love it. It's awesome.
Playing both sides of the ball. Pull up threes in transition, Mike. He's gonna get a job.
He's just doing Chucky stuff, man.
Or solidify his job, I should say.
Just Chucky being Chuck. I don't think we know on the backup quarterback front. I've heard nothing but good things about Deuce Adams since he got here. I know the staff has raved about him. I wonder if they don't want to play him at all because they don't want his NIL price to go up. I'm not joking about that. I know I kind of chuckled there. I think that's a very legitimate concern now. If you put Deuce Adams out there, I've been saying I would love to see a short yardage package for him, show off the wheels a little bit, maybe get a chance to show off the arm. If he goes out, if he makes 3 great plays in 3rd and 1 situations between now and the end of the season, that could drive his NIL price up by $250,000. That's the world that we're living in right now. And I wonder if there's hesitancy to put him out there just because of that, because they want him to be the quarterback next year, and they don't want to show anything because it's financially not the best thing to do. I've got no idea if that's the case. Maybe they don't think that he's ready. I don't think that Brady Allen is a guy that's good enough to play quarterback at this level. I just don't. He's been around college football for a long time now. He's got 1 year of eligibility left. If he does come back here next year and they think he's our starting, I think we all kind of bit our tongue on Miller Moss because we trusted in Jeff, and it's been certainly an up and down ride so far. If they said we're going with Brady Allen, I think I would have to be like, that's just a mistake. Like, he just does not possess the ability to get it done at this level. Deuce, I think, has a chance to be the guy, but I haven't seen enough of him in any sort of game action, and nobody else has either, to really be able to grade that. So
I was thinking about this over the weekend a little bit, Mike. And this is kind of a bit off topic here, but directly related to it. It's a hypothetical idea that would never come to existing. But I just wish, like, in a perfect world, we send Brian Brom down to EKU or Bowling Green, and the Briggs Cherry, the Mason Mims, they go there first.
You want like a AAA for college football?
I do, Mike. I do. I want us to have direct say-so on what happens at the quarterback spot for our freshmen down at one school. You know you're getting the bag. You know, we're going to pay you accurately for him, but basically you can only accept offers from us, or you have to accept our offer first because it's you know, his son that's the coach down there.
Sort of like a college sports loaner system.
Yes. We send, you know, Deuce should be down at Bowling Green or EKU right now, cutting up, making things happen, getting real snaps, learning how to play the position with in-game reps. But basically nobody can go out there and get him. And then we get him. We bring him in next year. He's ready to go. We have no question marks. While Briggs Cherry's down there cutting up, doing his thing for that EKU Bowling Green offense again under Brian Brom. That's what we need.
I would love this. Now, I mean, the legality obviously would not hold up. But how great would it be to be like, you know, it's like as a Reds fan, you know, I'm watching Sal Stewart hit 1 billion home runs in AAA this season. You're like, get him up. I can't wait till he's up with a big team. How great would it be to watch, you know, if Miller's struggling right now, it's like, man, Deuce is coming. He tossed for 712 yards in 2 games at EKU.
Nobody can grab him except
and nobody else can play. Yeah, if you're an Eastern, because I mean, maybe EKU would sign up for that. Maybe it would be great to have that success. I mean, the loan system seems to work in
if you sign
soccer.
up for like, hey, we got to pay you accurately based on what the market would be, you know, but you got to listen to us first.
I love this idea.
We need our QBs. That's my thing, is that I know Deuce is better. I know Deuce is the better quarterback than Brady, but he hasn't played, Mike. He hasn't played. There's so many little things he's going to have to learn how to do in-game under the Jeff Brom system at quarterback that it's going to take time. You can't just expect him to go out there and be ready to throw for 300 yards in game 1 next season.
Also, you know, you want to have a proper appreciation for the nightlife in Louisville and the social scene in Louisville. Spend a year in Richmond, Kentucky. There you
Exactly.
go. You enjoy that EKU campus life for a year. It's not a shot at, well, it is a shot at EKU. I can't, there's no way to window dress that. But yeah, I love this idea. I think it would be great. Yeah, they got helps on the way, though. The linebackers last year just tore up the OVC. Now they're ready to make the jump to the ACC. Let's go. Feeder programs. Let's make it happen. I like how we just generically picked EKU as the team that we're going with.
WKU maybe, even though.
Well, they're FBS. We can't do that. It's got to be a different level.
Be harder to make that happen.
Texas CFB here. Oh, here we go. R.I.P. Cubs fan Brian. See you in March. You're out of here. Now, you have to be Cards fan Brian until the end of the NCAA tournament. Cards fan Brian is really excited to see what players get mysteriously less healthy during the bye week. I don't think I've been less confident in a matchup than I am this week versus Miami. They're probably the worst matchup on paper in the country to everything that ills this team. I'll leave you with this question. If Brom doesn't pull a Brom this Friday and upsets Miami, what will there be left to get excited about this season? It feels like a Miami loss is going to carry fans right into basketball season next Friday. I think this is the general vibe that the fan base has right now. I wish it wasn't the case.
It's too bad. It's too low.
I mean, I'm not feeling, you know, it's the Monday of game week. I mean, I've got nobody who's talking to me about how excited they are about this or, you know, can't wait till Friday. Let's go. I do think that the excitement will rise steadily as we get closer to the game. But I think that Cards fan Brian is kind of summing up where the fan base is right now. You know, I mean, even his point about I can't wait to see who gets mysteriously less healthy. It's been about the off-the-field stuff as much as the on-the-field stuff. I don't think that there's any faith in, hey, Isaac Brown's going to look like he did last year on Saturday. He's going to be ready to go. Duke Watson's going to be geared up and ready to go. Miller Moss is going to play clean football. And even if they do, it might not be enough to beat arguably the best team in college football. And he's right. You look at the second half of the season, we play nobody that's going to move the needle nationally. I mean, beating Clemson for a second year in a row would be cool. Not as cool as beating them for the first time on their home field last year. Beating Kentucky 2 years in a row would be cool. But at this point, you've got way more to lose than you do to gain in that season, in that scenario. And if you win out and go 10-2, you're still probably not sniffing the playoff or the ACC title game. So I think that's where a lot of people are. Friday win would be pretty cool. Let's make it happen. Let's keep people focused on football. I will keep you focused on the Game Day Man Cell text line after the break, 502-414-1450. We're back after this here on the Big X. Welcome back in. It's the 4 o'clock hour of the Mike Rutherford Show, presented by United Mechanical and Nexus Plus, 1450-96.1. Big X Sports Playbook. They know how to use it. Give them a call. Again, 502-736-8141. You can also visit them online at collierlawfirm.com, C-O-L-Y-E-R lawfirm.com. Hurt in an accident, hurt on the job. Call your law firm. Game Day Men's Health text line 502-414-1450. We'll get back to you momentarily. We've got NFL football tonight. Doubleheader again. All right, not doubleheader, but it's, what do you call when there are two games going on simultaneously on different networks? Bills-Falcons at 7:15 on ESPN. Bears-Commanders at 8:15 on ABC. Roman, you're on with Mondays with Dalton Pence, 5:30 to 7 today. Will you be doing Big X Big Bets with us, or are you going to save it for Dalton's show?
Well, what I've decided is I'm going to give one Big X Big Bet out in the Running with Roman show each day and keep track of that record. That'll be the Big X Big Bets record. And then we'll have the Ticket Punches record, which will be separate. So I already gave out a Big X Big Bet for the day. We're on the Dodgers money line. We're on a heavy tonight, Mike.
Okay.
Don't have anything else yet lined up. I don't like these two matchups all that much. And I think the spread lines are pretty accurate for them. So going to continue to look and see what happens here on the books with the Monday Night Football. But so far, I'm liking the MLB playoffs a little more tonight.
I also think it's crazy that you have a ALCS game, first pitch 5:03 on a Monday. If it's, it seems weird.
Yeah.
Right? Like when we have the NBA, the Western Conference, and the Eastern Conference finals, they always stagger. I get that baseball moves quicker and they play games on consecutive days, but it would be nice to have, one game at 8 o'clock on Monday, then at the game 2, 8 o'clock on Tuesday. We're in no rush. We got plenty of time. We've got a few weeks left in October. We can get the World Series in and both these series in if they just take a day off between games. It's okay. But 5:03, Fox first pitch, Mariners Blue Jays. 8:08 first pitch, TBS, Dodgers Brewers.
Did you see all the jokes and tweets about if I was the manager of the Tigers, Scuba would have pitched 150 times tonight?
Yeah.
Why did they pull him that early? 99 pitches.
Apparently he said he pulled himself out of the game.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I never saw that.
That's the big word, is that Scooble said. And I love that
he gave the ball up.
I love that Tigers fans were like, if this is true, he can go ahead, go ahead and create a deal for him tomorrow. Get him out of town. And I was like, I will take Terry. You can take my whole team. Yeah, I'll give every red away besides like Ellie, and we'll take Tarek Skubal and just build around them. Okay, you want to get? I know a perfect landing spot for him, Cincinnati, Ohio. But yeah, some Tigers fans were very upset about that. Can't believe that it happened, but that was the big rumor, was that he knows himself. He felt like his arm was going a little bit, and he went ahead and said, "I'm done. I don't have it anymore."
Has there ever been a postponed game, or not? Like, we'll resume this game up tomorrow in your lifetime in the MLB?
In the playoffs?
Yeah.
I'm sure there has.
I saw that the record was like 24 innings, and it took them 2 days, but that was in like the early 1900s.
I'm sure that, I think there probably has been for like weather-related reasons. I don't. There hasn't been one for
just because it's like the bottom of the 21st.
No, they would have kept going till like 4 a.m. with that thing, which I was so tired. I was like, please God, just. But I did love the way that the Mariners did it. So they have this, like all of the baseball teams, or so many of the baseball teams now, they have a character race, and they do a salmon race, and it was like Pudgy is the name, or Scudgy or something, has never won. And so they always do it going into the 7th inning. And because they were the 15th inning, they did it again. And he won that race, and then promptly the Mariners walked it off like 5 minutes later, which was kind of cool.
That's cool.
But, yeah, crazy game. Shout out to the Mariners. I mean, if I was a Tigers fan, I would have just, I'm face down in a ditch still somewhere today. They had so many opportunities. The Mariners did too, though. Crazy game. Happy for the M's. If you are at all interested in Mariners baseball, I cannot recommend this to you highly enough. John Boys and company did a series on Mariners baseballs on their YouTube channel. If you just search, Mariners baseball YouTube, I'm sure you'll find it. It is fascinating. It's incredibly well done. And it will make you root for the Mariners for the rest of this postseason, unless you are already a fan of one of the other 3 teams left standing, like Trevor Kelsey, who's all in on his Blue Jays right now. But it's good to see some new blood outside of the Dodgers here at this point in the playoffs, which probably means the Dodgers are just going to win it all again. That bullpen still, though, just very, very suspect. But high drama in the MLB playoffs. Texter says, 502-414-1450. Seeing IU doing what they're doing, ascending in the Big Ten while we are neutral in a dying conference, this puts pressure on Jeff Brom, especially seeing just how well IU is coached. The gap between us and them when you watch each team is massive. I told you this is a thing. And I get it. Like, they've got the problem for us moving forward is the same problem that every team in this conference and the Big 12 has moving forward. We don't have IU's money. Like, it feels weird to say that. we don't have the money to spend on football that IU does, just by being a member of the Big Ten. And that money's going to keep up the more success he has and the more people around that area that are like, hey, man, being really good at football is pretty cool. I'd love to see us continue to do this, so I'm going to go in my own pockets and shell out some money for Kurt Signetti, especially if he turns down some of the higher profile jobs that are out there. That's the thing about Kentucky right now. Kind of, it's sort of taking a little bit of a left turn here. You've got a number of high profile jobs that are already open. You've got a handful of other high profile jobs that it looks like are going to be open at some point over the next 2 months. If Kentucky wants to get rid of Mark Stoops or feels like they have to get rid of Mark Stoops, you're competing with, Penn State and Auburn and potentially some other big names out there for the guys that are on your short list. Like the guys that are on your short list in Lexington are probably a lot of the same names that are going to be on the short list in Auburn, the short list in College Station, the short lists all over the place. And you're probably not going to be able to outduel those schools for those guys. So the job to replace Mark Stoops, if in fact that is the direction that UK chooses to go, just got a lot tougher based on how this season has unfolded. And, yeah, it's tough. But it is, it's jarring watching how good Indiana is. The other thing that I think people have started talking about is, we were kind of in on Fernando Mendoza.
Yeah.
And it's not as simple as Jeff took Miller Moss over Fernando Mendoza, which would be, I think we'd all be like, oh my God. I think there was a chance that we could have gotten Fernando Mendoza. The issue was, it was the same as 2 years ago with Tyler Shuck. There were a couple of bigger names out there that had interest in Louisville, and Jeff had the opportunity to tell Tyler Shuck, like, hang on, we're going to go up, talk to Cam Ward, talk to DJ Uiagalelei and see what could happen. And then you run the risk of, because at that point, Tyler Shuck was like, if you aren't going to commit to me, I'm committing somewhere else. And at that point, you run the risk of not getting any of these other guys, also losing out on Tyler Shuck and having to just kind of scramble for some scraps. Mendoza was interested in Louisville. Louisville was interested in Mendoza, but Mendoza wanted to take some other visits, wanted to see what else was out there, and Miller Moss was ready to go. And Jeff essentially said, we can't afford to wait. We feel like Miller Moss is good enough. We'll figure this thing out. Let's go. And that was the case. So if they had chosen to wait around, maybe they do get Fernando Mendoza, maybe they don't, and they also lose out on Moss, and who knows who we would have gotten at that point. But yeah, if you could do it all over again, hindsight is definitely 2020 here. You'd love to tell Jeff, like, hey, maybe just give it a couple more weeks. Maybe just shell out a couple more $1,000 if you can find it. There's always money at the banana stand. There's always money behind the Papa John's. Just go out there, see what you can get, because that guy, he might be worth it for you. But we didn't know it at the time. Texter says, what's the over-under 1.5 players dinged up with a new injury, air quotes, coming out of the bye week? I'm taking a shot for each one Friday night to soothe the ass-kicking we're about to receive. Also, how's the health of the basketball team? Any case and updates? I feel like he's who I've heard the least about this offseason. No updates since last week when Pat Kelsey said at Media Days that he was close to being cleared to participate full go in practice. That's all we've heard. But, yeah, I don't – I'm telling you, Roman, this is the mindset of the fan base right now. The fan base is still pissed off. Like, there's no – I haven't seen one besides, like, some Twitter account that's like Go Cards, whatever, which is fine, doing the whole, like, I think we're going to go beat Miami. People aren't putting their name behind it if they think U of L is going to beat Miami. It's a lot of people who are like, can't wait to hear what mystery injury we have this week, can't wait to lose this, and then just go through the motions for the rest of the year. The collective morale of the fan base is low right now. It's on you, Roman Kelly, to fire them up over the next 5 days.
That's what I'm going to do, Mike. I'm going to let them know. We should have beat them last year. We beat them the year before in Miami. We've played good football in a lot of different moments throughout this season, moments in which we would have definitely been able to get up and down the field against Miami, moments we would have been able to get stops against Miami, Now it's just a time of getting it all put together, Mike. Listen, the season's not over. We have one loss. We learned a lot in that loss. We learned a lot in the win before that in ACC play. It's time to put together all of the positives we've seen from the season, limit all of the negatives, prevent all of the negatives, and go out there and win a very, very big, important football game. It's possible. I'm not sitting here and saying I'm certain it's going to happen. I'm not sitting here and saying I'm betting it's going to happen. I'm not even sitting here and saying that I think it's extremely likely that it's going to happen, Mike. But there is one thing that I have seen so far out of Louisville football, and that they have played a brand of football on both sides that can play a game that can beat Miami. And I didn't want to get into this. I'm going to get into it again. I don't know if I've given this phrase out on the radio yet in my time on the Big X.
Here we go.
Carson Beck is a clout chaser.
Oh.
Clout chasers don't see success, Mike. He's got a dark cloud over him, and the lightning starts to strike on him this This Friday, that dark cloud, the precipitation's coming for him, Mike. I promise it is. And we're just going to be the start of it. We're going to unlock it.
Love it. Love it. Text says, Mike, I hate that it's this way for your Lions, but they're always doing a gimmick play. They don't work in January outdoors. Play big boy football. Right, because we've never seen a gimmick play in the Super Bowl. Philly special. Antoine Randall reverse touchdown pass for the Steelers. Phil Simms flea flicker. Want to go back old school, 91.
I think they're playing the brand of football that we're going to start seeing here in the next 5.
Everyone's running these types of plays now.
The Amon-Ra St. the what is it? Quick slant. He catches it, but whoever's running the crosser is already there. I think it was J-Mo.
Little hook and ladder. Yeah.
Love that.
Little hook and ladder in like the middle of the field. I'm telling you.
Dan Campbell and Andy Reid are the only people letting their players go out there and do that kind of stuff.
I said this a couple of years ago. I feel like the future of football, people always talk about how much more evolved can offenses get. It has to involve the lateral.
It has to.
It's the one part of the game that hasn't been used. Remember a couple of years ago, like Kelsey, was it last year maybe?
Last year, yes.
Travis Kelsey threw the ball across the field for that crazy touchdown.
I think that may have been 2 years ago.
Like that is going to, I'm surprised that it hasn't been incorporated more into football because it's not that risky. If you get the entire side of the field, it's simple pitch and catch. These are pro athletes. They can do it. But, yeah, the Lions are exploiting it more than other people. Also, I mean, we can – like, did you not see some of the drives early on? We got when they're healthy, best offensive line or second best offensive line in football. We can play pretty old school smash mouth football. Offensively, defensively, no, because we're not that good. And we also have a million guys hurt. But
it's like Jahmyr Gibbs gets 4 yards no matter what.
They did. I mean, they controlled that game until the Amon-Ra drop on fourth down. Changed everything. Dave, teacher from Jeffersonville, said, Jeff Boys Soccer won sectionals. Moving on. Let them know. We host regionals on Wednesday. Also, I'm really sick of Indiana making the playoffs and even for hosting a playoff game before us. So over this. With that being said, we're beating Miami. I feel it in my bones. I'm ready to eat all the hot sauce to make it happen. There we go. There's a fan putting his name behind it. Ready to make a play.
Dave, teacher from Deaf, feeling good this week.
By the way, we didn't mention on the show last week, but I did see that our Atherton Ravens season came to an end.
It did.
In the district.
It did.
All setting up for Rio to have a state championship senior season. Laid the foundation this year. It's coming next year.
It's coming.
It's happening.
Big season next year.
We're all in. Texter says, in some weird way, the fact that we have a loss now makes me more confident heading into Friday night. There we go. I kind of feel that way, too. I feel like I'm more confident about us at least having a shot in this game than I would have been if we'd been 5-0, but we all sort of felt like we were pretenders at this point.
There's a certain aspect I feel like Jeff can maybe tap into, Mike, that's like, hey, guys, this is our season right here. Season's on the line right here. You go out there and you play like it's the end of your season, like we've got nothing else to achieve, because if you don't win this, maybe you don't take it that harsh of a mindset, like everything's pointless if we lose. But
right.
I feel like there's some way, shape, or form you can maybe approach it that way where you get everybody on this team up for this game. Like this is the biggest game of their season. If anything that they want to achieve individually, it starts now. And
the overall mood reminds me a little bit of the Clemson game last year. And I think this Miami team is better than that Clemson team last year. But if you remember, we'd already lost the heartbreaking 2 conference games. We had just had that kind of like whatever performance where we had the big comeback against Boston College, but we still were down 20-0 to a not great Boston College team. and everybody was just like, you know. I mean, we're double-digit underdogs.
Took a stop on 4th down, I believe, to win that game.
The BC game?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had the late touchdown, and then they had a Hail Mary to try and throw it in the end zone. Like, we didn't have a whole lot of faith going into that game. And we went down there, played the most inspired football we had the entire season, and kind of stomped them from start to finish. Not saying that that's going to happen on Friday night, but I do feel like the general mood is kind of the same, where there's not a lot of people chest thumping and saying, we got this, let's go. We don't have a lot of momentum right now as a team. They're playing as well as anybody in the country, very clearly. So hopefully it can be another surprising performance like that. And then hopefully we don't do what we did last year and turn right around and lose to Stanford, which in this case would be Boston College. Texter says, this is Crystal Plummer. Regarding the Cards this week, I hope I'm wrong, but I do not trust our O-line. I think Bain is going to eat our cookies. Miami wins 31-17. I mean, you know, Ruben Bain he ate our cookies last year, and we still put up 45 points. He's going to get his. He's an outrageously good performer. One of the best players defensively in college football.
Papa Sylvester said Trevante's ready. He's taking full command of this offensive line, Mike. I'm not worried about Bain.
You think Trevante's got Ruben?
Trevante's got Ruben.
Yeah. Let's go. Texas St. Pete's Card here to declare Tampa Card as a fraud.
Ooh.
I love the rivalry here. St. Pete's Card says Tampa Card steals all of his comments and questions from him.
Tampa Card's a great texter here on the show, too.
Well, I feel like St. Pete's Card has been listening to the show, but, you know, like they always say, like 1% of listeners are texters or callers. So most people don't ever text in to the show. And I feel like he's friends with Tampa Card and has been hearing Tampa Card regurgitate all of his thoughts on the show for years. And now he's like, I got to step up. I got to say something.
I think you're right.
And he's finally trying to set the record straight, because now he's texted in 2 shows in a row for the first time ever. Answer, Tampa Card. Are you a fraud?
You did. Here in a couple texts.
Oh, can't wait. Lazard guys also texted in. Monday prediction, we're in this game till the end. Tie ball game with 6 minutes left. Malachi Toney gets loose for a 60-yard TD. Miller throws a pick on our final drive. We cover, but we lose a heartbreaker. Why would you even say that? Like, why?
That's terrible.
Why do we need to lay it out like this on Monday going into the week?
Lazard guy made me some money.
It's a Friday tag. What did Lazard guy tell you to do?
He was on South Carolina. He was on Purdue.
Ugh.
What else? He was on another one that I didn't trust him on, but I took it. Kansas State made me some money as well. They were dogs.
Every time I listen to Lazard guy, he's not making me any money. Ever since the original Lazard prediction, he's just been leading me astray. I need a play for tonight, Lazard guy. Let's go. Texture says, Tampa Card here. Here we go. If Brom never makes it to the playoffs during his time at Louisville, is that considered a massive disappointment?
Yes.
Yes. If he's here for 12-plus years and wins 8, 9, or 10 games a season, are we happy with that?
Unfortunately.
No. No, not after that point. If we are consistently winning 8, 9, 10 games.
Yeah, that means he's at fault for us not getting to the playoff more times than not.
I don't think.
That means your roster's good enough.
This is the classic, you know, at a certain point, being good isn't good enough scenario. You couldn't fire. If Jeff never won fewer than 8 games over the course of, let's say, 9 years. And
he's not making it into a 24-team playoff.
Well, let's say it stays at 12, just for the sake of the argument. But we win at least 8 games, 9 games, 10 games, maybe a couple 11 games with a bowl win mixed in there over 8 or 9 years. You can't fire him. And I think for the most part, people are like, all right, it's just a matter of time. But at some point, you've got to get into that playoff. At some point, you've got to be one of the 12 best teams in the country, or you've got to win a conference championship. And I think if it lasted, he said 12-plus years, if it got to like year 13 and we go 8-4, I think then at that point you say, yes, there's a possibility that we could be worse with whoever we bring in, but we've got to take that chance. At this point, we have enough to know that we're never going to win a national title or really compete for a national title doing what we're doing right now. We're never going to be bad, but at a certain point, good gets boring. It's the classic Georgia firing Mark Richt and bringing in Kirby Smart. Mark Richt was always like 9-3, 10-2 good, but he was never winning the SEC. He was never competing for a national championship. And when Georgia fired him, everybody was like, well, this is ridiculous. Like, be careful what you wish for. And they were kind of like, yeah, like maybe we hire the wrong guy and we go 4-8 or 5-7. It's worth the risk at this point. And they hired Kirby Smart and they won national titles as a result of it. Now, other teams have tried to do the similar thing. Remember Pitt basketball forcing Jamie Dixon out because he was only going to Sweet 16s and only going to Elite Eights and couldn't get into the Final Four, and they've sucked ever since. So you understand that risk, but I think like once it's been a decade plus, if you're a program like Louisville that we don't have the expectation of being in the playoff every year or even being in the playoff like 5 out of 6 years or 5 out of 10 years, but we every now and then would like to be in the playoff. If it gets to a decade plus and you haven't done it, then I think you say, all right, like it's worth taking the leap of faith here and going in a different direction. Obviously, that's a hypothetical that's way, way in the future, but if it came down to it, yes, I'd be in favor of making a move at that point.
Miller Moss has been named to the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award Top 25 watch list, Mike.
Yay.
I need you to pick it up this week.
How do you want me to react to that news? Cool. Awesome. Go win a big football game. Let's go.
There we go. Some assertiveness at least is better than, not being positive about it.
I want me to say, like, everybody's on that. I think I'm on that list. If you take it a snap, they're going to put you on. He's not going to win the award. He's not at the top of the list.
Didn't acknowledge.
It's like watch list season. Cool. Our backup center's on the Remington Award watch list because he's a player.
That same arm that's costed us already.
It gives me nothing. It does nothing for me. Go out there and win a football game. Come on.
That's my thing though, is that I'm done talking about Miller Moss, Mike. We've already talked about Miller Moss way more than we were supposed to at this point in the season. The talk was supposed to be
oh God, they posted a graphic for it on social media.
Yeah, they did.
I don't want to look at the comments. I hope Miller
I purposely didn't look.
Oh God. I mean, here we go.
It's not good. Oh no.
Meme of a guy checking his phone and looking confused. Nah.
No comment.
There's literally no positive comments underneath. There's not even like a, hey, yay, go Miller. I mean, okay. I know that it's part of your job as social media manager to post this sort of thing. I would have just shelved this one for a while. I don't think that Miller Moss has been as bad as the fan base acts like he is. But the mistakes that he's made have been so glaring that it's impossible to be over the top excited about his play, if that makes sense. Like I said on Monday last week, when he's really good, he makes you think Tyler Shuck. When he's really bad, he's the worst that we saw of Jack Plummer. And like that combination's not good enough to beat really good teams.
As we're saying this, Abelson just sent it in the group chat. Man, what? They tripping.
I mean, that's
like as I just watched it get sent.
That's going to be the common refrain from I think the most of the fan base. Like they want to see. I think some people are acting like he's the worst quarterback we've ever had, which is way over the top. When he was cooking on last 2 Saturdays ago against Virginia, he looked like a guy that could win a bunch of football games for you. It's just the whole, like I said, Jeff in the headset. Just somebody yell at him when he's scrambling. Like, no! Like, just don't do it. Or when you are, like, scrambling. That no just killed me. When you are holding the ball for 20 seconds, somebody just throw it a million miles into the stands. I don't think the decision-making makes no sense to me whatsoever. But he's not the worst quarterback in the world, but you also can't really tout his achievements at this point. Like we were driving to Indy, and there was a commercial on the radio about like what the law firm's using Miller Moss, and it's like, I'm Miller Moss. Like, I know what it takes to, and I was like, like, come on. We can't use this one right now. I just don't want to hear it right now.
300 yards, 3 straight games.
I'm saying there's been good there. It just has been overshadowed by the scratch your head, WTF was that.
Did Tyler do that last year? 3 straight games with 300-plus yards?
Oh, probably. Did he not?
I don't think so.
I mean, I think you said that very confidently. I was like, I think he probably did.
I think he had 3 in a row.
Look it up.
Okay.
Tyler Shuck game. The problem is now, let's see. he may not have.
I think he only had 2.
He had. No, you're right. He did not. He had 3 separate games where he threw for 300 plus, but not in a row. Well, he had 4 games where he threw for 300 plus, but not in a row.
Watch, Millen Ross is going to go on a streak. They're throwing 300 again this Friday.
SMU, Virginia, Miami, BC, he threw for 303 of those 4, but did not throw for 300 against. I mean, we were better looking at his numbers. We were way better last year when he didn't throw the ball a ton. It's because our damn run. That's supposed to be our offense this year. The passing game was never supposed to carry. It's supposed to be about the running game. Get the damn running backs healthy or whatever the hell's going on there. We got to go to break. Hour number 3 is up next. Couple topics to get to. Back to the text line. Predictions for tonight. It's all coming your way next. Keep it locked right here on 1450 The Big X.
Hey there, New Albany. This is Mayor Jeff Gahan.
Big X Sports Radio. Reminder, we are brought to you by our friends at United Mechanical and Nexus Plus. Nexus Plus is Louisville's newest construction management company. And United Mechanical, you know all about what United Mechanical does. They are your winning choice for reliable HVAC, electrical, plumbing, and refrigeration services. Give them a call at 502-339-1133. You can also visit them online at UnitedMechanicalInc.com. Producer Keith sent this in. We were talking about Indiana doing what they're doing under Kurt Signetti, it putting pressure not just on Jeff Braun, but really anybody who's a fan of a program that is sort of on the outside looking in right now. If Indiana can do it, why the hell can't we do it? And if you're a program in the ACC or the Big 12 or the Group of Five, here's a big part of the reason why it's tough to just keep it as simple as that. According to Matt Brown, former colleague of mine, big fan, who now works with kind of covering universities and financials and all the nuances of sports off the field and off the court. he said, here's a couple of numbers for your information. In the calendar year of 2024, the football operating expenses of these two programs, Penn State and Indiana. Penn State, big bad Penn State, gigantic history. Don't look it up though. Don't Google that history. You don't want to see all of it. And Indiana, who's been a basketball school for basically the entirety of its existence. In 2024, Penn State spent $64.4 million on football. Indiana spent $61.6 million on football. Basically an apples-to-apples comparison. Indiana now is spending almost as much money on football as Penn State is, and they're spending, I would assume, I don't have the exact numbers for the ACC programs, but more than just about every program in the ACC outside of Florida State, Miami, and Clemson. And this is the battle that you're fighting now as a program like Louisville. And it's why the only way you can combat it and make sure that your financials are in line to at least be competitive with the best of the best in college football is to win at a high enough level that you demand money being poured into the program. And it's why losses like last week's to Virginia, they don't just hurt in terms of the overall direction of the current season. They hurt now in terms of the overall direction of the program because suddenly people don't want to spend money on your football program, and that kills your ability to consistently field competitive rosters when you don't have that built-in advantage of the TV revenue that the Big Ten has and the SEC has. And this is what we're up against. And it's why the rest of the season still matters. People can say if we lose to Miami, we don't have a ton to play for. Going 10-2 still matters, or going 9-3 still matters when it comes to having enough money to field another competitive roster that gives you a shot in 2026 to go out there and win those big games that maybe you weren't able to in 2025. But it's a different – the landscape has always been tilted. It's even more tilted against Louisville now than it was back in the Big East days when we were a BCS conference, but the lowest of the BCS conferences. You've got to – You got to keep excitement high, and the only way to do that in this area is to win. And now it's a weird thing, too, because the basketball program is also going to be kind of competing with some dollars. Maybe there's some local business owners that were willing to shell out some money for football the last couple of seasons. But if you can't beat anybody of note on your schedule, and basketball now is back out there competing for national titles or being in that mix, maybe that money that they had earmarked for football, it goes to basketball now at this point. And it's a rare thing. Most places, it's all about football, win, lose, or draw. Here, it's not that way. It just never has been. So we got to get going. Trevor Kelsey has weighed in, too, on today's Mariners-Blue Jays game, Roman. Would you like to hear what he had to say?
What did he say?
He's very confident because it's Thanksgiving in Canada today, which I did not know. He said no one, and I mean no one, comes into our house and our country and beats us on Canadian Thanksgiving. Trevor Kelsey, world-renowned Canadian, now referring to it as our country on Monday.
They beat you on Thanksgiving Eve, Trev.
They did, but he doesn't think it's going to happen twice. He thinks that Canadian Thanksgiving is going to be enough to push the Blue Jays over the edge and give them game 2 today against the Mariners. We'll find out starting in about 30 minutes. Speaking of professional teams, congratulations to our girl Dana Evans, 2-time WNBA champion now, as she helped the Las Vegas Aces capture the 2025 WNBA crown. Congrats to Dana. Fantastic player, super individual, great representative of the program. She was balling in the finals too, especially game 1. Lighting it up. We love Dana Evans here on the show. Let me ask you this, Rom. This is the question that I was going to ask you. Well, first of all, we should have started the show with this, but give me a confidence level. 1 to 10 for Friday night's game against Miami. The number 2 ranked Hurricanes. Cards are a 14-point underdog. Scale of 1 to 10. 1 no-shot Louisville wins. 10 no-shot Louisville loses. Where are you as we start this game week?
I'm at like a 7.2, Mike.
So you think we're going to win?
I think we're going to win.
My God. That's
I think we're going to win.
High.
I had us losing this game in the preseason. Based on what I've seen from this team, they have not played the way that I thought, but they have shown that they can play that way. They've shown the Isaac Brown runs. They've shown Keywan Brown show that he can go get those 2 and 3 yards when we need him to. If we can get everybody out there who we need out there and get healthy, I do think that this team can put drives together that can put points up on the board, This defense can go out there, stop drives for Miami, prevent points from going on the board, hold them to field goals, force a few punts. We've seen it. We've seen it already this season. So I'm now buying into, locking into, trusting Jeff Brom and his ability to get guys in those big game spots and situations locked in how they're supposed to be, playing at an extremely high level and doing all the little stuff correctly, like we've seen for the last 2 seasons now, Mike, in the 2 biggest games we've had on our schedule.
I like it.
I'm ready.
I like it. I like where you are. Also, a quick shout out to volleyball. Up to number 4 this week in the AVCA Top 25 poll. They are now 6-0 in the ACC. Big weekend ahead, though. They're going to play SMU and then arch rival Pitt on Sunday on national TV. Big weekend as far as their chances of winning the ACC championship this season. Pitt took a loss to Miami, so the Cards right now in first place in the league, looking to extend that lead coming up this weekend. Now, the question that I was going to ask before the confidence level, we are, from a calendar perspective, at the midway point of the season. Now, Louisville's already played they've already had its 2 bye weeks, so we have 7 consecutive games to play without any breaks. We're not game-wise at the midway point of the season, but because we've played 5 of the 12. That's just basic math. We love math on this show. If I asked you, though, to give a mid-season grade before the Miami game for this team, which I think is tough to do because there's a lot of nuance. 4-1, it's not terrible. The way it's looked, though, is giving some people some issue. What's your grade for this team through the first 5 games of the season?
I'm going to give you a college grade percentage, Mike.
Okay.
College scale percentage here.
So, like,
80's a B.
80's a B, 80 to 90 is a B, or 80 to 89 is a B, 90 to 100 is an A, 70 to 79 is a C, 60 to 69 is a D, anything less is an F. Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Progress report so far this season, getting sent home, has a 78.4% on it.
Okay.
C
that's
plus.
like a C plus.
C plus if you've got a teacher that are willing to put the plus on there.
I was going to say like 75.67. I'm more like straight C.
If I do it by position group, Mike, the running backs, from where I had the expectation and just position group expectation preseason, everybody is exceeding expectations except the running backs. The quarterback is not exceeding it, but he's not going below. He's right where I thought he would be. Everybody else is I question marks on Colin Lacey. You know,
So you think quarterback play is where you thought it would be?
Yeah.
Offensive line play.
Okay, I guess that's not fair. I knew that they weren't going to be as good as last year, but I didn't really know what to think on them this year. I didn't really grade them too hardly. I just knew it wasn't going to be as good last year. So technically, they are not meeting expectations.
They've been bad.
The wide receivers, the special teams, the defensive side specific to each group, Mike, have all exceeded expectations for me massively. And I don't want to not give them their credit. I don't want to blame
That's fair.
everything on what I'm feeling on the vibes around the team going into this game on all of the other position groups, on how they've looked. When they've actually done the job, they've done better than what we thought they were going to do, and they've done enough in each and every one of these games to give you the platform to win. I can say that about every game so far this season. So it's tough to put the team grade any lower than that when I feel like Miller Moss has been at like a 61%.
I feel like there's a lot of you got the right answer, but you didn't show your work correctly type answers with this team, where it's geometry proof.
Yeah.
You came up with the right answer, but every step along the way was wrong. And I can't give you full credit for that. And like you said, it's a good point. Special teams, probably better than we thought going into the season. Everything defensively has been better than we thought going into the season. But when you have a running game that you thought was going to grade at like a 98 and it's graded at like a 65, it kind of brings everything down. I think the quarterback play has been a little bit worse than I thought it was going to. The offensive line play has been a lot worse than I thought it was going to. The running game has been way, way, way worse than I thought it was going to be. And like you said, the receiving game has been probably a little bit better than I thought it was going to be. But overall, it's just it certainly can't be in the B range, even with a 4-1 record.
Mm-mm.
It just hasn't.
Unfortunately, the quarterbacks and the running backs in this position, in this group, in this season, Mike, are too important.
Yeah. And look, I'm somebody who thought this team was going to be 4-1 going into this game. I still thought the highs would look better. It has not looked clean or organized or any of the things that we wanted it to at any point this season. And then you throw in kind of the off the field noise and the thing, the rumors that are out, all that stuff has just made the experience, I think, not quite as, it hasn't been what we wanted it to be. Now, a lot can change with a win on Friday. And like some people have argued, I think maybe it's the only route to a sweeping positive change that could kind of save the season. I hate to even say that. When we're 4-1, we've lost one game in overtime. It's not like everything has been terrible, but it just hasn't felt the way that it's supposed to. Things haven't clicked the way that they were supposed to, especially with the defense being surprisingly good. The fact that we thought we were going to have one of the best running games in the entire country. And that wasn't crazy fan red tin and goggle stuff. Everybody in the country thought we were going to have one of the best rushing games in the country, and we've just not been able to run the ball consistently at all for reasons, as I make hand gestures all over the place. And with that not getting, that's had a trickle-down effect. I think more has been on Miller Moss's plate because of that, and that wasn't really the deal coming into the season. More has probably been on the offensive line. They've had to do different things because the running game hasn't been going or we haven't had guys available. And Moore's probably been put on the defensive side's plate. And the defense has been fantastic. And everything. When you build a team around one area, and this team, the backbone was supposed to be its ability to run the football. We were going to be able to control the clock, control the drives, set up the passing game with the run. When you can't remotely do what you thought you were going to be able to in that one area, it affects everything. And unless the running game just miraculously turns into what we thought it was going to be in the second half of this season, I think a lot of people are having a hard time thinking that this could be totally flipped on its head and that we can be the team we all were hoping we were going to be back in August at any point this season. Now, hopefully that process starts on Friday and Isaac Brown goes off and Duke Watson's fantastic and Miller Moss can be more of kind of a game manager and the defense keeps playing really well. But I think after you've been doing this for a month and a half, I think all of us are very much in a I'm going to have to see it before I believe it type mode. And hopefully we see it on Friday. Because if not, that's just going to continue where we're like, all right, see to believe it. And basketball's coming up soon. People are ready to pivot. This team needs to give them a reason not to pivot. Roman thinks it's going to happen, though.
It's that time. It's that time of the season where the pivot starts.
It is that time. I mean, you've got guys, too. Jeff has used the phrase, we've got guys who think they've arrived multiple times so far this season. And I don't think you need to be a sports expert or a body language expert or an anything expert to have some idea about some of the people that he's talking about. And if you've got a pair of running backs out there who want to make a ton of money next year playing football, whether it's here or somewhere else, and want to make a ton of money playing in the NFL, this is kind of the time. You cannot just coast for an entire season and have your stock be as high as it was in the winter of 2024. This is a national spotlight game. If Isaac and Duke are healthy enough, they need to ball out on Friday. This is the time. Flip the switch. Let's go. Put everything else aside, and let's be the team that we thought we could be going into the year that is resting its laurels on your all's shoulders. Let's go. If it doesn't happen on Friday, I think we're all sort of at the same point where we just don't think it's going to happen. Game Day Med-Cell text line 502-414-1450 is the number. We'll read some more text here to wrap up this segment. Texter says, Riddler here. What's up, Riddler? I was wondering if you were going to text in. I'm sure Adidas would have ponied up that buyout money for KP, right? Or maybe the Stripes value their brand new team over loyal Louisville. Loyalty isn't worth anything. Josh, make the move to the swoosh. I like how Riddler has pivoted from going after Josh for the banner to now just hates Adidas. That's his new thing. We got to get out of Adidas. Texas says, checking in on Jamari Johnson at Oregon. 6 catches for 51 yards and 1 TD through 6 games. Feel like those numbers would be much, much better here. I think his only touchdown was that he caught a shovel pass for a touchdown in overtime against Penn State. I think that's the only touchdown he's had, so it wasn't even a traditional catch. He came in motion. It was a trick play. I mean,
He would have been starting here, Mike.
He would have been a star here. Like, he fits exactly what Jeff Brom wants to do in the passing game. And some of these plays, like, I love what Jaleel Skinner's done for us so far this season. He's not nearly as much of a dynamic playmaker as Jamari was. Like, there have been times where, Jaleel's caught a ball in space and he's turned it upfield for 6-7 yards, and you're like, yeah, Jamari Johnson would have done more with that.
Made him miss and then truck the next guy.
Would have made some more plays down the field. And
Jamari had a crazy stiff arm.
Crazy stuff. I mean, he made the one-handed catch that he made in traffic last year, where he ended up not getting credited with the catch, was ridiculous, and that gave a full glimpse into his potential. He made some outrageous plays, especially in the second half last year. It's easy to criticize. At the same time, he got I'm sure, a gigantic bag from Oregon, and maybe he's going to step into a bigger role next year in his final season of college football. But a lot of guys seem to go elsewhere and have their numbers take a nosedive. So.
Guys come here, the numbers go up.
For the most part, yeah. Texas, every time I close my eyes, I see Ruben Bain teabagging Miller Moss. Well, that's gross. I tried all weekend to get up for this Miami game, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. If we're going to be portal heavy like Brom, you have to build teams from the inside out. We needed to assemble a good O-line, and we simply didn't. This team was put together like a child would in a video game. All skill positions, no foundation. Then we went out there and overpaid and whiffed on Miller. We can still have a good year, but we are going to get smacked around by Miami. Brom just didn't have it this year, and that's okay. Let the big dog cook, and let's run it back next August. It's basketball season, baby. Let's go pack the yum. T-minus 11 days. Let's go.
Like, it's not giving Wes Bailey and Clev Lubin enough credit, but
No.
I agree with the texter. They did it on the defensive side.
I think people think we paid more for Miller Moss than we actually did. This has been a common thing. Like, we didn't get Miller Moss on the cheap or anything like that, but we did not pay Miller Moss nearly as much as some of the portal quarterbacks that are out there. We didn't pay him. Like, I think some people think that we gave like $1.5 million for Miller Moss, and that's just not true. We paid kind of market value for Miller Moss. And I think that was part of the allure. Like, we could have hung around and maybe been in on some quarterbacks that we thought were better, but were going to cost us more. But Miller Moss, like Tyler Shuck the year before him, was cheaper than some of the options out there, and it was kind of quick and easy. He wanted to be here. We thought he was good. We made the play. Now it's looking like a mistake in hindsight. But it's not. I still think the Miller Moss thing could work if we had the running game taking the pressure off of him.
I know it could. We've seen it work already without a run game.
I mean, this was the party line all summer. Was, yeah, Miller Moss got benched at USC, but that was because they were asking him to do things that he wasn't capable. They had no running game and no offensive line, and he had to throw the ball 50 times for them to win, and that's not really his game. He won't have to do that here. And through 5 games, we've had no offensive line and no running game, and we've had to have him throw it 50 times for us to have a chance.
48 pass attempts, 50 pass attempts, 51 pass attempts.
It's not his game. Like he's had the exact same experience here that he had at USC, and he's made the exact same mistakes. He was supposed to only have to throw it like 25 to 30 times here because the running game was going to take care of that, and they were going to be easier throws because everybody was going to be focused on the running game, and it hasn't happened. The running game has helped him not at all. And also, he has had I saw Pro Football Focus, the stat was he has been pressured more quickly on drop back passes than any quarterback in college football. The offensive line has done a worse job at pass pro than any power conference team in the sport. So, like, it's been his USC disaster all over again through the first month and a half of the season. We got to get the run game going. I feel like I'm going to be saying that. It's going to be like we're playing a bowl game, like the military bowl. We got to get the run game going. If we can just get the run game going this week, we're going to be fine.
I tried to warn us about Miller, Mike.
Well, I mean, but again, like if he was being asked to do what he was supposed to be, I think he can play that role effectively. He could be a very good quarterback if it's 25 to 30 passes a game, and we're not asking you to do anything overly elaborate. You ask him to do the same things that they asked him to do last year with the Trojans, yeah, you're going to get the same results.
Yeah.
Everything goes back to the running game not being effective. I mean, I had a vision on that drive in the fourth quarter of the Virginia game where Isaac finally looked healthy. We ran the fake flea flicker, and Isaac busted for 20 yards. We hand it to him. He goes for 6-7 yards. We ran the ball We had 5 plays. 4 of them were great, positive running plays. One of them was a quick, easy pitch and catch because they were overly focused on the run, and we moved the ball right down the field. Isaac gets hurt again, goes out of the game. Duke's hurt. Keywan's not healthy enough to go. We got to go right back to shotgun with no running back there, and the drive stalls. If we have a drive like those 5 plays the entire season, we're good to go. Like that's supposed to be the way the offense is going to work. We haven't seen it at all this season because the running backs have been whatever. Texter says, where are the Kroger basketball posters? Now we're getting to the real issues. Now we're getting to the nitty-gritty. This is what people want. I don't know. Should be any day now, right?
Yeah.
This summer, we're like 2 months away from where the football posters. Now it's the basketball posters. Let's go. Get them out there. Texter says, okay, Otega Owe being SEC Player of the Year. I just don't get the hype. He's good, but it seems like he's getting pretty overrated.
It's pretty good.
I mean, like we said with the Braden Smith thing, that award in conferences is typically going to go to the most accomplished player thus far in his college career. Like, I wouldn't pick Otega Owe to be the postseason SEC Player of the Year, but I get why he wins the preseason award. Because who are the other first team members? Todd Pettiford for Auburn, I think is going to be fantastic this year, assuming Stephen Pearl knows like what an offense is. But he was a bench player last year, came off the bench and was kind of like a score first guy. Alex Condon was less utilized last season for Florida because they had such great guards. Josh Hubbard's really good, but he plays for Mississippi State, who's kind of like a whatever program. And then LeBaron Philon was also a bench player who's expected to step into a bigger role this season. So Owe was first-team All-SEC last year. He's the only returning first-team All-SEC performer. It's understandable that he would be preseason Player of the Year in the conference. I'm fine with it. He's good.
One of the better two-way players in his position. Can do it all pretty much.
Yeah.
I don't know about the three ball that much, but
it's not his game. Boogie Flan, second team.
I don't like that.
Well, I mean, transfers are hard to put on. You know, occasionally there are really obvious ones, but for the most
part,
part,
backcourt's going to be interesting.
Quarterback court is going to be interesting. I'm fascinated to see how it works. They're going to be exciting. No way around it. Texas Roman, how do you think Louisville would match up with a team like Texas Tech, who has won the last 2 meetings against us since the 2019-20 season?
It's a great question. Right now, as it stands, that'd be an interesting matchup because we don't really have anybody who can truly guard Toppin, I don't think, Mike.
Mm-mm.
I don't know if Javon has the quickness to really match up, and then the guys who have the quickness, they're not big enough. Outside of that, though, I mean, they've got a couple good guards. They've got a freshman guard I really, really like a lot. I saw a hoop mixtape of his, which is just a mixtape, and it's just the highlights, but he's doing some pretty acrobatic, crazy stuff, and he can shoot it. I don't know if he's going to play all that much there because he's a freshman, but they're going to play fast. They're going to play hard. I just got a few guys on that team that don't have a whole lot of experience playing high-level basketball yet. So I think our pace would match up well. We would just struggle guarding Toppin.
I think LaJuan Watts is really good. I'm very high on him, probably higher than a lot of people. I think people are going to see just how good he is.
The Jalen Petty kid, Mike.
Jalen Petty?
I think he's the real deal.
Okay. I mean, McCaslin's one of those guys who doesn't play a ton of freshman big-time minutes, but if they're good enough, they'll see the floor. Case in point, Christian Anderson last year, who played, I think he averaged double figures for them as a freshman. And I think it's going to be fantastic for them this year as a guard. So I'm excited to see him. I'll take your word for it. I'm not as well versed in the freshmen going into a season.
You don't like freshmen anymore, Mike. Just say it.
Not that much.
It's not Mike L. Brown. You don't care.
Well, you spend a lot of time writing about freshmen in the preseason, then you go out there and like half of them are not playing at all. You're like, well, kind of wasting my time there. But we'll see. I don't think he's going to be, because their starters I think will be the Anderson, Watts, Toppin.
Yeah.
And then the Tyree Bryan from Santa Clara, and then the fifth one, I don't know.
Probably be the other big.
The kid from VCU?
Yeah.
Whose name I completely am blanking on. I just wrote about Texas Tech, too, and I completely am blanking on him. Luke something. I don't know. But I think they're going to be really good. I think that those teams will be difficult matchups because they'll play slower, and they'll be more defensive-laden. if we can get out to a lead, those are the teams where you'd like to play ahead against.
Or just beat them up, make them shoot shots they don't like taking.
That's what I'm saying. Get out to an early 12-point lead, make them play uncomfortable a little bit in the second half. That has to be the name of the game. But I think offensively they would have some answers for us.
Yeah.
Defensively, I'm curious to see how that has to be a Michael game against those teams. He's got to create effectively for everybody around him, and he's got to be the difference maker because he's your NBA caliber player. Let's go to break. When we come back, last segment of the day, we'll read your text. We'll make some predictions for the night ahead, and then we'll hand things off to Dalton Pence. It's the Monday Mike Rutherford Show. Back after this, here on the Big X. Final segment of the day here on the Mike Rutherford Show, presented by United Mechanical and Nexus Plus, Big X Sports Radio. The good thing about Monday, though, it's not the final segment when it comes to U of L sports talk. We'll have Dalton Pence in here from 5:30 to 7, taking you home. You also have Roman Kelly here in the house. He's going to have Dalton's going to have Alex Dono from the Locked On Canes podcast and Locked On ACC to talk Miami football. They'll talk a little Ken Pop. They'll talk a little men's basketball recruiting. Keep it locked right here for Dalton until 7 o'clock. We're here until 5:30. We got a few more texts to take from you guys, some predictions to make tonight for NFL and MLB playoffs, and then we'll get into the week. Hopefully we can pick up. People are mad at me for not having more enthusiasm about the Miami game. Like I said, I am simply an extension of the fan base. I'm reacting to what I'm seeing and hearing from the Louisville fans. I'm sure it will pick up as the week goes on. We'll generate more enthusiasm as we get deeper into the week. But right now, I think everyone's just kind of on the same page when it comes to this. Scoot says, are there any songs you don't know? I swear you come back singing every one. There are lots of songs I don't know, Scoots.
You do know a lot of songs, too.
You have a diverse music portfolio. I had Spotify on, like, my random shuffle, and like, you'll go from, like, 90s country to very over-the-top rap, and then, like, a Beethoven concerto, like, right after. It's just, I like it all. I enjoy music. It's a good go of it. Did your dad ever do a thing when you were growing up where, I mean, did you ever have control over the radio or the CD player or the whatever when you were riding in the car as a kid?
No.
Never. Like, my kids run the radio, and like, my mom was driving, it was different. My mom didn't care, so, like, we get to listen to whatever we wanted to. But when Dad was driving, especially
Don't touch my stereo.
Yeah, for a road trip, like, Dad's music was what we listened to. The same burnt CD 50 times in a row with the same 12 songs. That's what we were listening to. And my kids are like, I want to hear K-pop Demon Hunters. I want to hear Halloween songs. And Mary's like, we'll take turns. We'll get to pick. I was like, no, I'm driving. I'm driving 2 hours to Indiana. The least I can do is let you listen to my music. Come on. And then I put on K-pop Demon Hunters. And we all belted out Golden. It's a jam. There's no way around it. The songs are very, very good. Virginia knows, like, she definitely is like me, though. She'll hear a song 2 times, and she's got the words down. Like, she knows all the words to all these K-pop Demon Hunter songs, except for the Korean parts, where she just kind of, they're like rapping in Korean. And she very much, and now she says she wants to learn Korean just for this. Yeah. They're learning Spanish in kindergarten now, Roman. It's crazy.
We did that.
Did you?
Well, we had a Spanish guy come to the class once a week.
I think we didn't start. I don't think I started learning Spanish until like 2nd grade at Wilder. We had a Spanish teacher. I remember that. But Virginia, she can count to 10. She knows some of her colors. She can't get Amarillo down. But now she wants to trade Spanish for Korean because of K-pop Demon. There's that. Game Day Men's Health text line is 502-414-1450. We got a lot of texts to get to, not a lot of time to get to them. So let's read some, and then we'll make some predictions for the night ahead in the world of sports. Texter says, Papa J here. I love Papa J text. Well, it's taken me a whole week, and I'm still not completely over the Virginia loss. Well, they're not exactly the uplifting Papa J I was hoping for. The O-line must and foremost improve. Hopefully, we can all be on the same page this week. I don't mind if we go to Miami and get beat, but I will hate it if we just lose like we did against Virginia. I've had this saying on my desk for about 35 years. Always expect to win, but I don't mind getting beat because I can learn from it, but I hate losing more than I like to win. Mike, you would be very proud of you boys/men on Friday. They did a great job. Roman, you amaze me at all the shows you're a part of. Great job. Stay humbled and be grateful that you have Mike and others to support and guide you. You're going to be great. As always, have a great rest of your show. Go Cards. Papa J.
Thanks, Papa J. Appreciate that. I'm very lucky to have Mike and all these others here at the Big X that help me out.
Papa J's the man. He just makes you feel better about everything after you read a Papa J text.
And he's right.
I need Papa J to send me.
I hate losing more than I like winning, Mike.
I feel the same way. I need Papa J to send me just
sign up for the Papa J text of the day.
Papa J, like, morning, some sort of just affirmation. Just give me something in the morning. I can look at myself in the mirror and read a Papa J message. And just know that he's there for me. And he thinks that I'm doing a great job. I could use it. By the way, once again, trying to drag my kids into the sports zone and do stuff. Virginia, she gets out there, she shoots one basketball, and she's like, she tries to be very sweet because she can tell that, like, I want to get out there and shoot. And she's like, I'm sorry, Dad. She's like, I just feel like this isn't it's not a very girly thing. And I was like, well, there's some girls out there playing. And she's like, yeah. And I know what she wants to say, which is just like, I could care less about any sports. I'm a girly girl. And then I finally got her to play putt-putt, and she had an absolute meltdown when she wasn't good at it. So probably for the best. But John got out there. He hit the golf ball a couple times.
Good.
That was okay. Still not showing me much.
Making progress, though.
Still, not really. He also is the slowest walker in the history of the world. Anytime we're doing anything, it's just like everyone's walking at a normal pace. John's a mile and a half behind, just paying no attention whatsoever, touching everything. If there's a handrail, he's going to have his hand all over it. Just drives me crazy. But I love He also just refuses to not stop hitting me in the nuts these days. Just his thing. Just nut smack constantly. Just beating up Dad. Texture says, without referencing Ken Palm, make the case for Pat Kelsey being the fourth best coach in America. I would say the turnaround jobs that he's been able to do at every program that he's been at. It's tough to compare because obviously Winthrop and Charleston aren't Louisville or another program at the power conference level. But when you look at, Winthrop had a pretty built-in history of success before he arrived there, but he still took it to a different level. So Winthrop had been kind of the rulers of the Big South for a long time. And this guy named Randy Pill took over the program after Greg Marshall. Remember that guy? It goes to Wichita State, crushes it, has an insane wife, is kind of insane himself. Now he's sort of in basketball exile. Randy Pill took over Winthrop from Greg Marshall and ran a very proud mid-major program straight into the ground. They were terrible in his 3 years. They had a losing record all 3 seasons. I don't even think he won a game in their conference tournament. Kelsey takes over in 13-14 and immediately shows progress. They make it to the conference championship game his first year, and by the time he leaves, they're right back to being one of the top dogs in mid-major basketball. They are winning conference championships. They're going to the NCAA tournament. He went 24-10 in his last year, he went 23-2 in his last year before taking the Charleston job. They went to the NCAA tournament. They lost to Villanova in a very competitive first-round game. He goes to Charleston. It's another program that had previously been kind of a well-oiled machine, but had fallen on some hard times. They had won 9 games the year before he took over. Earl Grant, who ended up going to Boston College, had been okay, but not great. He takes that program over. Not only does he make them good, he makes them – they go 31-4 in his second year. They go to the NCAA tournament. They win 27 games the year after that, and then he goes to Louisville. Again, it's not data that directly indicates that he's going to be the 4th best coach in college basketball when he really gets things rolling at Louisville, but it's certainly indicative that it's possible. He's won everywhere he's gone. He's taken over 2 proud programs that had fallen on hard times, turned them right around. Now he's taken over a 3rd program, this time at a higher level that had fallen on hard times, immediately turns them around, and now we'll see what he can do when he really gets things rolling. When he's gotten things rolling at Winthrop and Charleston, he's given those 2 programs, which again have pretty lengthy histories, a handful of their best seasons ever. Now it's time to see if he can do it at Louisville. Texter says, dear God, Mike, you're falling for the Satterfield propaganda. Last year they started 5-2. Remember where they finished. Did they start 5-2 last year? I don't remember that.
They had a couple wins at the beginning of the season. I don't remember the exact record.
I mean, I knew they were okay last year. I knew they had been better last year than they were the year before, but I didn't remember them starting 5-2. They did. They started 5-2. They lost their last 5 games. They also didn't beat anybody of consequence. Their wins last year were over Towson, Miami of Ohio, a really bad Houston team. They beat Arizona State. I'll say that. Okay. You're making a good case for why they're going to fall apart. I don't want to believe in the Satterfield hype. I'm just saying simply they're 5-1 and they're nationally ranked. Hopefully they fall apart.
It's going to fall apart.
Texas, way too early to say that Cincinnati is better than Louisville this year. Their win over Iowa State doesn't look good anymore, and S&P and FPI ratings both have Louisville ranked ahead of Cincinnati. Okay. You guys are talking me off the edge. I feel good about this. We would beat Cincinnati on a neutral field. Give me the cards. Texas Mike, can Tulo revive the Rockies as manager? Let's go, Bill in Denver. I mean, he can't be worse. If that's the goal, if that's the bar for reviving, then sure. I like the move. I mean, sometimes with past great players and no managerial experience, sometimes it doesn't work out great. Sometimes it does. I mean, I still feel weird. Like, Troy Tulowitzki's my age. I think he may be younger than I am. I don't love seeing guys like that get managerial jobs.
You got players older than you.
Yeah, I mean, there are very few players who are older than I am, and I think that's probably still the case for Tulo, but there's some out there. Texas, obviously, Roman isn't old enough to know who Trent Dilfer is, but he might be the college football version of Kenny Payne. See the link above for his awful quotes. I mean, he had a little bit more success on field, but as far as just saying dumb stuff, yeah, he was terrible. He got fired over the weekend. I think when we did the question, it was one of our overreaction, underreaction. We were talking about the next coach to get fired in college football. We certainly didn't have James Franklin on that list. I think Trent Dilfer was my go-to, but just narrowly got beat out by a couple of other guys. But he was, I mean, he was talking about, I mean, he made the comment.
Name.
Well, Trent Dilfer, he's an NFL winning quarterback, man.
Oh, okay.
Super Bowl winning quarterback.
That's what I thought. Okay.
For the Ravens. He, arguably the worst quarterback to ever win a Super Bowl, but still won it. So his daughter, Tori, played volleyball here a few years ago, was very, very good. And he made a quote about how, like, if you want to play volleyball at a high level, like, Louisville's the place to go. It's like, you know, I get it, but, you know, like, you're directly paid by your school. Why would you not say UAB? And he also did something similar about, like, a different athletic program. He made some very, very dumb quotes over the years. Texter says, what's this Reddit link? Miami, FSU, Clemson, and Georgia. Okay, here's the total viewership rankings for this new money when it comes down to it. Miami, 24 million total viewers. Number 1, FSU is 2, Clemson 3, Georgia Tech 4, UNC 5. Syracuse, VT, and UVA are tied for 6th. Duke is 9th, so we are below all these schools. We need to have some highly watched games here, guys. That's not good.
No, I believe we're at 2 million.
That's, yeah. Duke has doubled us up, and they're 9th. You know, we need some more watched. The sad thing is people are going to keep watching North Carolina because they want to see them get beat by 50 points every game. Mm-hmm. And this is going to be a bad year. The way our schedule lines up, too, that Clemson game's not going to do numbers the way, you know, people will watch Friday night games if it's a big one. But if it's not, they got other things to do on a Friday night. That Clemson game's probably not going to move the needle as much as we all hoped it was going to before the season, especially if we don't beat Miami this week. Texas says if 200K is going to be the difference of making or breaking us, giving a high-ceiling quarterback a shot at reps when we obviously have a lame duck quarterback currently, then we just need to go ahead and go back to the American. Well, I mean, we don't have unlimited money. We don't. I think the NIL situation for us moving forward is complicated. We got to save money wherever we can. That's all I'll say. Roman Hater said, I'm afraid that Roman thinks Bowling Green is in Bowling Green, KY, the way he keeps saying, send him down to play at Bowling Green.
Down to EKU, up and over to Bowling Green.
Up and over. Texas says, Louisville money line Friday night. I fear. Oh God, Tex Group's doing the thing. I swear to God, I was about to say
just to still not have a chance at the playoffs.
Thank you.
That's depressing.
If we beat Miami on Friday, we have a shot at the playoffs. Because I don't think that I don't trust the teams that are who's still undefeated in the ACC. Georgia Tech, Virginia, which is ridiculous since they already lost to NC State. Duke. Am I missing anybody?
No, that's it.
I don't trust any of those teams. SMU. SMU is the one that scares me.
Oh, I keep thinking that they've lost, but not to an ACC school.
They've lost twice. They're 2-0 in the ACC. I don't trust any of these teams, though, to run the gauntlet. And if we beat Miami and there's some sort of crazy pileup of 7-1 teams where it's like 4 teams finish, we would have a good shot at the tiebreaker because this would vault us up the rankings. Unfortunately, we don't have games against any of the other teams above us besides SMU. So, but if we won this game and we went 11-1, playoffs very much on the table. If we lose this one, then it's done. And you're just talking about trying to go 9-3 or it would suck to go 10-2 and feel like you didn't even have any shot at the playoff. But I feared that would be the reality. We look back at that Virginia game very, very badly. Texas says, Roman, I think the NCAA is doing a fine job of destroying college athletics. We don't need to give anyone ideas about creating a mid-major farm system for P5 schools.
You're right.
I like the idea because it benefits me.
Lucky for the Louisville quarterback position group, but ultimately, though, they would just start taking advantage of the mid-major schools, and they wouldn't even be college football anymore. So.
I mean, 100%. I'd feel terrible for the actual players who like work their ass off to get a starting job at EKU. Imagine that. It's like, we got a 5-star freshman coming in here who's on loan from Louisville. You're probably not going to play much this year, my man. Texas, I'm in the minority, apparently. I can't wait for the game this week. As a parent with constant responsibilities on the weekend, a Friday game gets me absolutely pumped. If we lose, I'll still be following the team all the way through the end, as a 10-win season is still there for grabs, and those should never be taken for granted. I feel for sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, it's not like we're all just going to punt on football. I can't speak for everybody, but we certainly won't punt on football here if we lose this game on Friday. But
a lot of people sound like they're on 3rd and long with this team, Mike.
I think this is the basketball effect. Like, we're back to 1996 when football was just to kind of gives people something to do until basketball season started. And because we've been so basketball starved, the second there's a little bit of with the football team, I think it's also, I think, a product of the new times where it's all about making the playoff. Nobody cares about if we went 10-2 and went to a high-level bowl game as recently as 6-7 years ago. It would have been huge. It would have dominated the storylines. I remember losing to UK in 2006 and clinching the BCS the same day when I think West Virginia beat Rutgers, and that got us into the BCS. And that was the bigger deal. Like, going to the BCS and playing Wake Forest in the Orange Bowl meant more on that day to a lot of U of L fans than losing to Kentucky in basketball did. And it's just not that way anymore. Bowl games just simply do not carry that same weight, and that sucks because it's kind of it's playoff or nothing for most power conference teams anymore, and that dramatically affects the way that we view the regular season. Texture says, what's this a link to? Bone Thugs and Harmony. Oh, Bone Thugs and Harmony coming to the Mercury Ballroom October 20th.
Let's go see him, Mike.
I think we should fill the room with Card Chronicle bird masks, Texture says. Let's do it. October 20th. What's that? It's a week from today. It's Monday night. Boom, 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 boom. Wiener Dog guy says, I got your back, Mike, and it's a picture of him giving the middle finger to LaRue County. I've got big news on this front, Roman. We probably should have led off the show with this. LaRue County Athletics appears to have unblocked me on Twitter.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Let me make sure.
How do you feel about that?
Oh, no, they haven't. They haven't. I don't know how, like, their account. Okay, back. Yeah, no, thank you, Texter. Middle finger. LaRue County has you blocked. They didn't play last week in football. I know this. They've won 2. I can't wait to retweet when they lose this Friday. Now even more mad because I thought for a second that they had unblocked me. I hate these guys. I hate these kids. If you're suiting up for LaRue County, you're a coward. I don't care if you're 14 years old. Texas says, I know historically we aren't the best football program, but I feel like I'm a playoff contender or bust type of season every year going forward. I don't want to feel that way. I'm just so hungry for us to do something bigger in football. I also think this may be the sacrificial season for the quarterback transfer fix Jeff has going. Hopefully he'll be brought back to earth and focus on the younger guys as our future QBs going forward. If he thinks they're good enough, I mean, Jeff sees these guys every day in practice. If he feels like Deuce is good enough to get us in the playoff mix next year, I'll trust him there. If he doesn't, then he's probably going to go back out there and get another portal quarterback. Texas, I never want to tell fans how to fan, but man, we aren't in a position. Text Groove, do you have that one?
No.
I hate Text Groove so much.
And then, but Braum is 4 wins away from most wins by a Louisville coach in their first 3 years. We've got the right guy for us. Football needs our support because it helps the rest of athletics do well. Did very quick research on that Braum stat, so don't fact check that. But I think it is true.
I mean, I think he's I know as of last game, he was the winningest coach through his first 3 years, besides Petrino 1.0, where Bobby went like 9-3 year one, then 11-1 year two, and then we were 9-3 again in 05, and then of course we went 11-1 in 06. So yeah, I mean, he still is historically successful. It's just we feel like we're at a different point as a football program now. I think we're all terrified too that we're going to fall back into this lull of college football purgatory where we are consistently like 7-5, 8. Like we're NC State, which is the one thing that I said I did not want to be when we joined the ACC. 7-5, 8-4, 9-3. No worse, but never better. That's just it's not a fun place to be, especially with the expanded playoff changing the landscape of the sport. Texture says, is U of L football prepared for the next year in terms of resources? Looking at the current two deep, they're losing pretty much everything. Brom always hits the portal hard, but the volume needed, it's growing each year from lack of internal development. You're not wrong. We're going to have to replace a lot of guys next year, regardless of what we do with high school recruiting and regardless of who leaves and who stays. There are going to be, look at wide receiver. Bell and Lacey are both gone. Some of the backups are going to be gone. You're going to have to restock there. And that's not even taking into account the guys, the underclassmen that a lot of people are projecting could be transfer guys, especially at that running back position. I can't get anything to load here. Mike, is there any... Oh, and then it loads. Thank God Roman isn't as checked out on Louisville football.
We'll get Mike back up this week.
It's time. Text Mike, is there any superstition in you that this is the game? And it won't load. Any luck? Nope. What?
Got Lazard guys plays for tonight.
Okay. Give me Lazard guys.
Plays I'm on tonight. Josh Allen, Tyler Allgeier, anytime touchdown. JCM, Cole Kmet, anytime touchdown. Zacchaeus, 4+ and 40+. I'm assuming that's receptions and 40+ receiving yards. Zacchaeus, 1+. Oh, and of course, Lazard guys text goes away. Zacchaeus, 1+, 5+, 10+, first quarter receiving. Allgeier, first touchdown. Kmet, Zacchaeus, Burden, first touchdown.
Ridiculous.
I'm not mad at these plays here. I stay away from the first touchdown. I like the Cole Kmet anytime. Allgeier, I benched him on fantasy, Mike. Well, actually, it's not too late, but it's him or Debo, and I feel like I go with Debo.
I would go with Debo.
But Debo still has the questionable symbol underneath him. So I'm
still, when he plays, he's a beast.
Yeah.
I didn't realize we had like 55 texts left, too. It's a Monday. I should have known. Should have known better. And now none of them will load. So
Lazar guy will probably get into those again if you want to resend them at the end of the Mondays with Dalton Pinch show.
Here we go. Mike, is there any superstition in you that this is the game but Miami drops? You've talked about it before. Also, nice rowback. Thank you. They always have one of these. I do feel like we kind of fit the profile, too, of like Georgia Tech last year or a couple years ago, whenever that was, where we're a good team but not a great team. I don't put it past this Miami team, as good as they are and as rock solid as they are at every position, to have a crystal ball. And that's not a compliment. This could be the game. If we keep it close, if you keep it close against Miami, there is a strong possibility that Mario Cristobal will forget how to count like he always does and do the dumbest thing possible and give you the game.
Yeah.
As frustrated as a lot of people are with Jeff Brom, he is, he's a rocket scientist compared to Mario Cristobal. I would take him 10 days of the week over Mario Cristobal. I think he can outcoach Mario in this game. I can't. Hey, Mike, Carson Beck is a bum. Cheating on Hannah Cavender is an unforgivable sin, and we need to win this for her. Hashtag lubing up for Hannah Cavender. I'm fine with him cheating on Hannah Cavender. Mariners lead the Blue Jays 3-1 in the bottom of the first. Dodgers Brewers tonight at 8:08. Roman, who wins?
Dodgers, money line, big X, big bet.
I think the Brewers win this one. Bills Falcons. Buffalo's a 3.5-point favorite in Atlanta. Who wins?
Give me the Bills.
I got the Bills, too, winning and covering. And then Bears, Commanders, Washington, 5.5-point home favorite. Who you got?
Give me the Bears.
Was brought to you by United Mechanical.
Commanders win. Don't cover. Dalton Pence is up next. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 2:30. Go Cards.
Go Cards.
Call United Mechanical at 502-339-1133. Go Cards.
Hey there, New Albany. This is Mayor Jeff Gahan. It's another year